Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has harem with Sakura Ino and Hinata. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by nightmarerei and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Rise of the Fox Clan. Sakura Haruno is restocking on herbs she uses for her special medicine that heals wounds at a quicker rate than normal when she spotted her teammate Uzumaki Naruto. Hey Naruto! Sakura called out. Naruto looks in the direction where he heard his name being called and sees Sakura. Oh hey Sakura-chan. Naruto calls back. Sakura walks towards Naruto until she's standing in front of him. What brings you out here? She asked him as she looked at his shopping bag. Naruto notices her gaze and attempts to hide the bag behind him. It's nothing. Naruto says, blushing. Now even more curious, Sakura attempts to take a peek inside, but Naruto backs away. Why you can't look at it, Sakura-chan? Naruto pleaded with her. And why not? Sakura demanded. Naruto always gave in when she gave him a glare, but much to her shock he still refused to show her what was in the bag. I'm sorry Sakura-chan, I can't show you what it is now, but maybe later. Naruto tells her, and he turns on his heels and runs away, leaving Sakura confused at his actions. That was weird, but then again this is Naruto we're talking about, Sakura says to herself with a shrug. She resumes gathering the rest of the herbs she needs and heads home. Along the way she sees the Yamanaka flower shop, and since it's been a while since she's talked to Ino, she decided to pay her a visit. She opened the door, causing the bells hanging on the door to ring and startling Ino. Sakura blinked. Was she imagining things, or did Ino's eyes briefly change into slits before quickly returning to normal? Oh, it's just you, forehead. What brings you here? Ino asked her in a bored tone. I just came to check out what your store had today. It's not like I came to see a piggy like you. Sakura responded. She could tell that Ino was annoyed at being called piggy. Is there anything in particular you're looking for, billboard brow? Ino asked her mockingly. It's okay, I can manage on my own. I know how busy you are at the moment, Sakura tells her with a sly grin. Ino rises from her seat and walks around the counter to stand in front of Sakura. You think you're pretty funny, don't you? Ino says, getting in Sakura's face. Well, I do have a sense of humor, do you? Sakura responds, staring Ino in the eye. They both glare at each other before bursting into laughter. They would always insult each other like this, getting under the other's skin before laughing it off as harmless fun. I miss doing this, Sakura confesses. Yeah, we don't see each other enough, Ino informs her. Yeah, why is that though? Lately you seem in a real hurry to go somewhere right after your shift, Sakura says, eyeing her friend suspiciously. Ino shifts nervously under Sakura's gaze. That's because I'm busy. Sakura raises her right eyebrow. Busy with what exactly? She questions. You know, with missions, and I do have a social life, you know, Ino responded defensively. Sakura wasn't buying it. She could tell Ino was hitting something. Alright, I get it, no need to be defensive, Ino. Sakura tries to calm her friend down. Yeah, but seriously, what brings you by? Ino asked Sakura, trying to change to conversation. Like I said, I wanted to see if you wanted to hang out after your shift is done? Sakura answers her honestly. I actually already have plans, sorry Sakura, Ino says apologetically. No, that's okay, it is kind of short notice after all, Sakura replied sadly. Ino looked at her best friend's disappointed expression. She wanted to hang out with Sakura, but she had something very important to do, and it can't be rescheduled. Maybe next time we can hang out. I'm sure I can get Naruto to cover for me, and it's not like he'll be alone. Wait, Naruto? What's he going to cover for you? Sakura asked her. Suddenly realizing her mistake, Ino tries frantically to not let Sakura get the wrong idea. It's a side job I'm trying out in between missions and the flower shop. And what's that got to do with Naruto? Sakura questioned. Well, you see, Naruto is also working there too, Ino tells her nervously. Really? Sakura asks, unconvinced. Why, yeah. I was a little nervous being the only one there, so I kinda dragged him into joining with me, Ino says confidently. Sakura eyes her suspiciously. That does sound like something you would do, and I can see Naruto going along with it. Sakura nods her head in agreement, causing Ino to sigh in relief. Maybe what was in that bag has something to do with your job, Sakura tells her. That caught Ino's attention. Bag? What bag? I was restocking on herbs when I ran into Naruto. He had a bag with him and I was curious about it, so when I asked him about it he started acting very secretive about it, Sakura explained to her. Well, you know Naruto, he's full of surprises, so whatever he's got in the bag must be something big, Ino commented. Yeah, and somehow I don't think that's a good thing, Sakura says nervously. They giggle at the thought of what monumental surprise Naruto has in store. Sakura glances at a clock hanging above the counter, and realizes that it's getting late. I guess I'd better be going now. Good luck with your other job, Ino. She waves goodbye to Ino as she exits the shop and begins heading home. As soon as Sakura was out of sight, Ino let out a tired sigh. That was close, I almost gave away our secret. She looks towards the direction Sakura went with a sad expression. Sorry Sakura, I wish I could tell you, but Ino trails off as she wraps her arms around herself, the sun hitting and casting a shadow behind her. But the shadow silhouette doesn't match her. Later on that evening, Sakura is laying on top of her bed. Having finished preparing the herbs she bought into new medicine, she decided to relax while waiting for dinner. However, her thoughts were on her two friends. Ordinarily she wouldn't pay it much mind, but their behavior has stranger than usual. Just what was up with those two today? They were acting stranger than usual even for them. Sakura thought out loud. She quickly sat up on her bed and ruffles her hair in frustration. And what's inside that bag? It's driving me crazy. She falls back down on her bed and lets out a frustrated sigh. She stares up at her ceiling. Maybe I'm just making a big deal out of nothing. I haven't hung out with Ino for a while in Naruto, and I seem to be busy with our training to really hang out. Come to think of it, I don't remember Ino's breasts being that big before. She thinks back to about 7 months ago, when she and Ino were training. Ino had a great body, C-cup breasts, slender waist, nice shapely legs and fair skin. Sakura was always jealous of Ino's body, and add the fact that she's stylish doesn't help either. But now Ino's body seems to have gone through a growth spurt. Her breasts are now as big as Lady Tsunade's, if not bigger, as they strained against the apron she was wearing. Her hips are wider, making her waist appear slimmer, and Ino's actually taller than her now, making her look like a drop-dead bombshell. How did her body get like that? And in 7 months no less. Sakura groans. Sakura, dinner's ready. Sakura's mother Mabuki yells from the dining room. Alright, I'll be right there. Sakura yells back. She jumps off her bed and heads downstairs. Tomorrow she'll ask Ino more about her other job. The village streets are mostly empty. The few people that are out are making their way home or to local bars. But something else is making its way through the village. It stealthily maneuvers through street corners, jumping on the treetops and across the rooftops towards the village wall. As it gets closer to the wall, it spots a lookout at the top of the wall. Thinking that it may have to wait for an opening, it's surprised when the guard suddenly stiffens and begins walking away, making an opening for it to pass. Not letting the opportunity go to waste, it makes a mad dash towards the wall. Gathering chakra to its feet, it climbs up the wall and over on to the other side, running into the deep forest. It stops at a clearing where it sees a large blonde vixen sitting at the center in a patch of wildflowers. The moon made her fur shine and her eyes glow, but unlike other vixens, this one was special. She heard noise from her left and turned to look at another blonde fox emerging from the shadows and into the light. However, it suddenly stood upright, revealing his muscular body. His toned cheese, six-pack abs, strong muscular arms and legs would make any woman drool at the sight of them. A smile spread across the vixen's lips as she too stood up and revealing her voluptuous body, her large breasts that are far bigger than the 5th Hokage Tsunade, nice firm legs, slim waistline, wide hips that every woman dreams they had and men obsess and drool over. They walked towards each other in a calm pace, taking in every inch of each other's bodies before stopping mere inches from each other. They're both taller than any regular man and women. The male stands at least 8 feet 5 inches, and the female stands 7 feet 4 inches. They stare into each other's slitted eyes, the male having blue slits while the female has light blue. Male fox wraps his arms around the vixen's waist and brings her into his toned chest. The vixen smiles seductively as she brings her arms up and wraps them around his strong muscular neck. The male looks down at her large breasts that are pressed against his chest and smiles before leaning his head down and capturing the vixen's lips in a passionate kiss. Their tongues battle for dominance. As their kissing intensifies, they soon part, leaving a trail of saliva between them. They rest their foreheads against the other and take a deep breath, inhaling each other's scent. I miss you. The female fox spoke. I missed you too. I wanted to hold you in my arms so badly. The male told her. Me too. I wanted to feel your comforting presence, but most of all I wanted to feel their presence too. I was anxious all day because I couldn't feel them near me. The vixen shifts nervously. Then let's go. I wanted to see them together with you. The male fox told her as they made their way deeper into the forest. They stopped in front of the side of a tall hill that they couldn't see the top due to the thick tree branches. They walked towards the wall on all fours, but instead of walking up the hill they walked through the rock wall into a hidden cave. They ventured deep into the pitch-black cave, but with their special eyes they are able to see inside as clear as day. They came across 2 tunnels, and without stopping they chose the left tunnel, which lead them into a den where 2 other foxes, one sandy blonde the other dark blue, are resting. On their sides, in between them, there was 7 kits that are about 2 weeks old. The 3 that are near the blonde vixen consists of a female kit with red fur, and 2 male siblings, one with the same fur color as his mother, and the other similar to the blonde male fox that just arrived, are suckling on their mother's massive breasts. The 2 kits that are next to the dark blue vixen are both males with the same fur color as their mother, and are also suckling on her enormous breasts, that are the biggest out of the 3. The last 2 are a male and female with the same blonde fur color as the vixen that just arrived, and having sensed their parents, they began to slowly crawl towards them. The vixen's eyes watered at the sight of them, and Kukli moved to pick them up. Sensing the movement, the 2 sleeping vixens' eyes shot open and looked to the direction of the movement, but they quickly relaxed at seeing who it was. Welcome back, you 2. The sandy blonde vixen greeted them. These 2 missed you. The dark blue vixen told them, gesturing to the 2 kids snuggling into their mother's bosom. Well, mommy missed her precious babies too. The blonde vixen said happily as she nuzzled her young. The other vixens shifted a bit to make room for them. The vixen laid down, forming a close circle with their kits in the middle, still suckling on their mother's breasts. The blonde vixen made herself comfortably as her kits latched on to one of her and started suckling. She sighs contently and lays her head down. She sees her mate nuzzling the other vixens and his kits, then he came to her and did the same. Good night, Ino-chan. The blonde fox said warmly. Good night, Naruto and Ino replied lovingly as they kissed briefly before he laid next to her, and they all asleep. 2 of the foxes are revealed to be Naruto Uzumaki and Ino Yamanaka, For unknown reasons they have become foxes and have even reproduced. The other two foxes are a mystery, but judging by the fact that their kits are as old as Ino's signifies that they all met at roughly the same time. For now they sleep contentedly in each other's company, waiting for the next day to arrive. The following morning the den was illuminated by the sunlight coming through small holes in the ceiling causing the occupants to stir. Ino is the first to awaken. She opens her eyes only to see a pair of eyes that are similar to hers staring back at her. Well, good morning, sweetie. Ino greets her son happily. He smiles brightly at hearing her voice and rubs her face with his. Well, you certainly are affectionate today, aren't you? I think he really missed you, Ino-chan. Naruto replies next to her, as he watches his son nuzzling Ino. He spots his daughter helping herself to her morning meal, while her brother greets their mother. I think he might be a mama's boy. The sandy blonde vixen commented. I would look at your own son before you start judging mine. Ino replied. The sandy blonde vixen looks to her kits. Her daughter is suckling on her left breast, and one of her sons is suckling on her right. She feels something climbing on her back and turns to see her son staring at her with the same teal slitted eyes as hers. The sandy blonde vixen couldn't help but smile. Soon he started slipping off her back, but before he could fall off, his mother grabs him by the extra skin on his neck with her mouth. He starts smiling and laughing as his mother puts him down in front of her and licks his cheek before nuzzling him. He just wants to be affectionate with me, is that wrong? She asks Ino as she begins tickling her son, making him erupt in a fit of giggles. He's definitely going to be a mama's boy. Ino tells her as she focuses her attention on her son again, who's on his back and waving his arms and legs happily at her. Ino nuzzles his platinum blonde fur-covered belly and inhales. His eyes fill with tears as it pains her to leave her kits with a shadow clone of herself while she tends to her duties in the Leaf Village and not arouse suspicion on her secret life. Even her ability to sense whenever her kits want her isn't helping much. In fact, it only makes her more anxious that her kits need her, and she can't do anything for them. However, due to becoming a fox, her abilities have been greatly enhanced. She's able to communicate with her kits telepathically and comfort them from an even greater distance that would normally require assistance from special equipment. They all also have a telepathic link to each other so they can communicate, and are able to see what the other ability they all have now is the ability to teleport. Like the fourth Hokage, they mark an area like their den for example, and they're able to appear to the marked location in an instant. Naruto looks at his family with pure happiness. All his life he's been alone, and now thanks to his vixens he has the family and love he's longed for. Is everything alright, Naruto-kun? Naruto turns in the direction of the voice and sees the dark blue vixen sitting up with her legs underneath her in a proper sitting position. She's holding her twins as they're suckling on her enormous breasts. Yeah, I'm just really happy and grateful to all of you. Grateful? The dark blue vixen asked, confused, now gaining everyone else's attention. Naruto scratched the back of his head nervously at having everyone's attention on him. I'm grateful to you all for giving me what I always dreamed of, he told them with teary eyes. The vixens looked at him with loving eyes. They knew what Naruto's life was like, and two of them were ashamed that they didn't do anything to help him. Ino and the sandy blonde vixen picked up their kits, and they along with the dark blue vixen moved closer to Naruto. They snuggled close to him, and he wrapped his arms around them. Hey, cheer up, Naruto-kun. You have 3 incredibly hot vixens all to yourself, so if you're really grateful then show us, don't just tell us. Ino tells him seductively as she licks her lips. They all feel their kits moving and they look down to see them reaching for their father with concern in their eyes. See? You even have your children worried, baka. Ino scolds him. Naruto extends his hand out, and each kit grabs his fingers. You don't want to see your old man sad, huh? He asks them with a smile, and they respond with a smile of their own. But then Naruto's ears suddenly perk up. What's wrong, Naruto-kun? The dark blue vixen worriedly. I'm getting a message from my clone that Sakura-chan is at my apartment. Naruto told them. Forehead? What does she want? Ino asked. Are you going to use this opportunity to finally mark her? The sandy blonde vixen asked teasingly. I'm not sure, but I'd better go in person to make sure she doesn't suspect anything, Naruto told them as he started getting up, but his kids started fussing over their father leaving. Hey, now don't worry, I'll be back, but in the meantime Daddy got you something, he assured them as he reached for a bag that was on top of a rock. He reaches inside and pulls out 7 stuffed animals of foxes of various colors. The kids looked at them with eyes filled with wonder and joy and stretched their arms out eagerly. Naruto smiles as he hands them the stuffed toys. They immediately tried to wrap their arms around them, but the stuffed toys were too big for them, but they snuggled into them, happily. The vixens were overjoyed at Naruto's gift to their children as they set them down where they can play properly with their gifts. So that's what you had in that bag, Sakura mentioned. Ino said, smirking. Yeah, I wanted it to be a surprise. Naruto laughed lightly as he kissed each of his kits, then gave each of his vixens a brief kiss. I'll be back as soon as I can. He then made his way out. Be careful, the vixens said to him in unison. Naruto looks and smiles at his family before he leaves, spending time together. Sakura was waiting patiently outside of Naruto's apartment door. She could barely sleep last night as her thoughts were consumed with what was inside that bag Naruto had refused to show her yesterday. She was tapping her foot impatiently when the door slowly opened, revealing Naruto clad in only his boxers and a white undershirt. Sakura-chan, what are you doing here this early? Naruto asks, rubbing the remaining sleep from his eyes. Sakura didn't bother answering as she pushed past Naruto and letting herself inside his apartment. She braced herself for the mess she encountered last time, but she was pleasantly surprised to find that his apartment was spotless. Wow, Naruto, you actually tidied up the place. Sakura teased. Yeah, well, I had to in case you showed up again. Naruto told her, although he had Ino to thank for his apartment being clean, as she provided an incentive if he kept his room clean. Sakura looked around his room looking for the bag she saw yesterday. Everything was so neatly put away, so she had no problem quickly looking over everything. She sighs in frustration when she couldn't find the bag. Can I help you with something, Sakura-chan? Naruto asked, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. Sorry, Naruto, but I'm looking for. Sakura stops as she takes a good look at Naruto. Without his jacket on, she can clearly see his muscled chest and his strong muscular arms. She glanced down and noticed his muscular athletic legs. Her mouth started to water at the sight. Naruto noticed her stare and smirked. Like what you see? He asked as he stretched his arms over his head. Sakura couldn't form any words as she watched Naruto flex his muscles. Naruto was enjoying this. He always wanted Sakura to notice him, and now that he was going to make her want to notice him more often. He continued to stretch and then getting down on the floor to do some more stretches when an idea hit him. Hey, Sakura-chan? Naruto called her attention. What? Sakura stuttered. Do you mind helping me stretch? Naruto asked. Sure. Sakura replied. Internally she was excited that she would get to feel Naruto's muscles. Can you push my back forward? He asked, sitting with his legs apart. Okay. Sakura replied. Her heart was pounding as she placed her hands on his back. She could feel how hard his muscles felt against her small hand. Her hands roamed his back and feeling more of his muscles, she started feeling hot, and started rubbing her thighs together. Sakura-chan? Naruto called her attention, but she was lost in her mind. Sakura had this overwhelming urge to rip off Naruto's clothes so she can feel and see more of his body. Sakura-chan. She wanted to lick his muscled chest, to feel his strong arms wrap around her, and hold her gently, making her feel safe and loved. Sakura-chan. She wanted him to kiss her body and make her shudder in pleasure, then wanted him to join with her and fill her with. Sakura-chan. Can you ease up a little? Naruto asks, as Sakura looks to see that she's crushing him against the wooden floor. Oh, sorry. Sakura apologizes as she quickly pulls her hands away from him. It's okay. Naruto tells her as he gets up and stretches his back. So what brings you by? Oh, I just wanted to see if you'd let me see what was in that bag now. She asked nervously. Couldn't this have waited until later? It's still kinda early. He reasoned. Oh, sorry, it's just that I really wanted to see what was inside. Sakura apologizes as she realizes that maybe she should have waited till later. You're that eager to see what it was I bought? Naruto asks, crossing his arms. Sakura nods timidly, her head cast down as she couldn't look at Naruto. Naruto sighs before saying, sorry, Sakura-chan, but I no longer have it. What? Yeah, I kinda already gave it away. He says while scratching the back on his head nervously. So you already delivered it to your job? Sakura asks, feeling dejected. Job? What job? He asks, confused. The job you're doing with Ino, remember? She told me about it yesterday. Sakura asks, raising an eyebrow. Oh, that job. He says, pretending to remember. What kind of job is it? She asks. I said, what kind of job is it that you two are doing? Sakura asks again. Oh well, you see, Naruto tries to think of something but nothing comes to mind. Well? Sakura asks, getting impatient. Ask Ino-chan. Naruto blurted out. Why when I can ask you? Sakura questioned. Because it was her idea and she made me promise not to tell anyone. Naruto told her. Is it that bad? Sakura asked. Yeah. Naruto said, blushing. Sakura noticed his blush and concluded that whatever the job is, it must be something if Naruto and Ino are embarrassed to talk about it. Oh, alright, but what was in the bag anyway? It was for Ino. He answered. What did you give her? She asked. It was something she ordered and she asked me to pick it up. Naruto lied. Did you take a peek? Sakura asked, raising an eyebrow. Maybe a little. Naruto said. What was it? I can't really explain, but when I handed it to her she said something along the lines of this will put me one step ahead of forehead. Naruto told her. She did, huh? Sakura said with annoyance. She was going to get Ino for that comment, and as luck would have it, today they were both scheduled to train with the Hokage. Sakura smirked. She was really going to enjoy this training session. Okay, thanks Naruto, sorry I woke you up so early. Sakura apologized. It's alright, glad I could help. Naruto said as he followed Sakura to his door. Say Naruto? Sakura asked as Naruto opened the door for her. Yeah? Sakura looks at Naruto, but then she shakes her head. It's nothing, never mind. If you say so. Naruto shrugs. I'll see you later, Naruto. Sakura waves goodbye as she makes her way down the hall of his apartment building. Later, Sakura-chan. Naruto closes the door and leans his back against it. That was close. He sighs in relief before ruffling his spiky hair. I better give Ino-chan a heads up. Later in the Yamanaka home, Mrs. Yamanaka is walking to her daughter's room and knocks on the door. Ino, it's time to get up. She waits for a reply, but after waiting for a while doesn't hear anything. Ino? Mrs. Yamanaka then opens the door to her daughter's room. Ino, didn't you hear me? I said. She stops when she notices that she wasn't in her room. In fact, the room looked like it hadn't been used since last night. Did she even come home last night? Mrs. Yamanaka began to worry. She turned around to go get Inoichi when she bumped into something. Hey, where's the fire? Mrs. Yamanaka looked to see that she ran into her husband Inoichi-kun. Ino hasn't been in her room last night. She tells him worriedly. I just saw Ino working in the garden. He tells her. What? Mrs. Yamanaka says with wide eyes. Yeah, I saw her working on a new lot. When I asked her about it, she says that it's a secret. Inoichi tells her. I see. Mrs. Yamanaka says with a sigh. In the backyard, Ino is planting new seeds for a special type of flower. After planting the seeds, she places her palms over the dirt patch and starts pumping chakra into it. As she does this, her eyes suddenly start glowing, but then the glowing stops, and she sighs. Damn it, forehead, why are you so nosy? Ino says, annoyed. And now I have to make up a job that sounds believable. She finishes her gardening and heads back inside. She sits down with her family, and they all enjoy breakfast together. It's nice to enjoy a nice meal together as a family. Mrs. Yamanaka says as she serves herself a glass of orange juice. What do you mean, Mom? Ino asks as she digs into her plate, which has more food than either of her parents. Well, you and your father are busy with your missions and training that we rarely get to spend time together as a family, so I have to treasure moments like these. She tells them honestly. Ino takes a bite of food from her fork when she heard her mother's words and pauses. She thinks to her own family and begins to wonder if she should be doing more to spend time with them, like taking them to the park, or just taking them out for a walk to get some fresh air. Inoichi notices Ino's faraway look. Ino, is everything alright? Ino snaps out of her thoughts, and sees both her parents looking at her worriedly. Oh yeah, everything is fine. You know what, Mom, I agree with you. Maybe we can organize a family outing. She offered up. You know that's not a bad idea. Inoichi said, liking the idea of a family outing. I agree, I could make us some food and we'll have a picnic. Mrs. Yamanaka added her own 2 cents. Great, then we should pick a date so we can tell everyone ahead of time that we'll be busy. Ino recommended. Excellent, this is going to be a great. Inoichi said happily. Maybe I'll be able to tell you guys about them during that time. Ino muttered. Did you say something, dear? Mrs. Yamanaka asked. I was just saying that this is going to be one family outing we won't forget. She said in more ways than one. She thought, that's thinking positive. Inoichi said. The family resumed their meal and Ino was already on her second helping. Ino's parents watched their daughter in amazement as she consumes a large portion of food. I see you have a healthy appetite, Ino. Mrs. Yamanaka noted. Ino looks to her mother with her cheeks stuffed with food. She swallows it and wipes her mouth with a napkin. Yeah, well, I need a lot of energy, and my training helps me burn unwanted calories. She told her. That's good to hear. Inoichi says proudly. But the amount you're eating, it's like you're eating for 2. Mrs. Yamanaka joked. Ino, however, didn't find that funny, as she almost choked on her food. She quickly reached for her juice and drank its contents until she felt the blockage pass down her throat. Mom, that's not funny! Ino shouted, embarrassed. Yes, dear, you shouldn't joke around like that. Inoichi told his wife, finding the joke to be alarming. Oh, lighten up, you two, it's just a comparison, unless Ino really is eating for 2. Mrs. Yamanaka said as she and her husband turned their attention to Ino. I'm not pregnant. She tells them. At least not anymore. She thought. The family resumed their meal and went to do their daily routines. Ino headed to the training ground where she and Sakura were supposed to meet the Hokage. When she arrived, she saw that the Hokage and Sakura were working on a few warm-up exercises. Ino, right on time. Tsunade addressed her. Ino and Sakura stood side by side waiting for the Hokage to instruct them on what they will be doing. Alright, for today I want you two to engage in some light sparring so I can assess your current skill level and to see what areas you've improved and need improvement. Tsunade told them. What are the rules of the spar? Sakura asked. You are allowed to use 5 training shuriken, 3 training kunai, and 4 training paper bombs. Other than that, you can use whatever jutsu you want, provided it doesn't seriously injure your opponent. Tsunade instructed them. They both nodded and took positions on opposite sides of each other. Sakura was putting on her gloves as Ino was stretching. Are you ready, Ino? Sakura asked confidently. She always wins these spars, although Ino didn't make it easy. Bring it on, forehead. Ino mocked. She had a couple of surprises in store for Sakura. Alright, begin. Tsunade declared as Sakura started things off by gathering chakra into her right fist and colliding it with the ground, causing it to shatter. Ino was caught off guard when the ground beneath her suddenly split and large pieces of the ground shot up, but she managed to regain her footing and backflipped away from the area of attack. Sakura used this opportunity to launch a training kunai with a training paper bomb attached to it. Ino, however, sees this and throws a training kunai to deflect it, followed by a training shuriken. Sakura dodges it by bending backwards, but when she sets herself upright, she sees Ino in a familiar pose. Mind transfer jutsu, Ino declares as her body goes limp. Sakura quickly scans around her and reaches for the large rock near her. She grabs onto it with enough force that her fingers sink into the stone. She pulls herself to the side, just barely avoiding Ino's attack, and uses that same momentum to launch herself at her. Got you, Ino! Sakura thinks as she tackles Ino onto the ground, but as soon as they hit the ground it suddenly turns into mud. What the hell? Sakura is surprised, but then Ino emerges from the mud completely mud-free. Got you, forehead! Ino mocked as she sued on top of the mud. Ino, when did you do this? Sakura asked as she rose to stand on the mud with her chakra. You didn't think I'd leave myself unprotected, did you? You fell for the same trick again, billboard brow. Ino mocked her friend. Don't get too full of yourself, Ino pig. Sakura warned her, as she slammed her fist against the mud, making it explode. Nice going, forehead. Ino said as she landed on the other side of the now empty mud pit. A relaxing mud bath is good and all, but I'm not in the mood for it right now. Sakura told Ino as she prepared to attack again. That's too bad, I prepared something special just for you. Ino told Sakura as the patches of mud that are scattered across the field morphed into Ino. Mud clones! Sakura thought as she realized she was surrounded. Thanks for helping with dispersing them. Ino mocked as her mud clones closed in on Sakura. Sakura dodged an incoming punch and countered by punching the mud clone in the stomach, causing it to splatter in mud. Another mud clone came from behind, but she dealt with it by flipping over it, and at the same time grabbing onto its shoulders before throwing it straight into the other mud clones as she completed her flip. 2 mud clones came at her from her left and right. She dodged a punch from the one on the left, and grabbed the leg of the one attacking from her right as it tried to kick her. She swung the mud clones straight into the other one, causing them both to turn back into mud. She then punched another mud clone, causing it to turn back into mud. She made a mad dash towards the real Ino and leapt towards her. She threw a punch at Ino which connected, but she later turned into mud. A clone! Sakura said aloud. Right behind you, Sakura. Sakura turned around to see Ino with a kunai in hand as she attempted to stab her. Sakura managed to catch the kunai in between her index finger and middle finger. Ino looked at her shosh before hearing the kunai bend in between Sakura's fingers, causing her to gulp. Sakura attempted to punch Ino, but she dodged it by leaning her head to the side. Sakura then reeled her left leg back as she prepared to kick Ino, who couldn't dodge it, so she crossed her arms in front of her as Sakura kicked her. Ino was sent flying from the force of Sakura's kick but stopped when her back collided with a large boulder. Sakura ran towards Ino as she was struggling to get up. She gathered chakra into her fist as she closed in on Ino, who managed to get to her feet and threw a punch that would surely knock her out. But to her shock, Ino raised her right arm and caught her fist. Her head was down as she was panting, but when she raised her head to look at Sakura, her eyes have become slits. Sakura couldn't believe what she was seeing, but before she could think any further, Ino pulled her fist back and threw an uppercut, hitting Sakura underneath her chin and sending her airborne. She later jumped up at Sakura and grabbing both her ankles and spinning them both forward and throwing Sakura towards the ground. Sakura lands violently and rolls across the field before stopping. Realizing what she just did, Ino quickly sprints towards her and kneels next to her to check her condition. How is she? Ino turns her head to see Tsunade approaching her. She's okay, she's just knocked out, Ino informed her. Tsunade bent down to check Sakura, and besides some bruises, she was fine. That was some hit, Ino. Since when were you capable of doing that? She asked. Just recently, but this time it was more of an impulse response, Ino confessed. I see, then you might want to work on that, Tsunade tells her. Yes, milady. Ino agrees. Well, I guess that's it for today. Do you mind taking Sakura home? Tsunade asked. Oh sure, no problem. Ino agreed as she gently picked up Sakura and placed Sakura's left arm around her shoulder for support. She made her way to Sakura's house, but it was slow progress. As she was making her way through the busy streets, Ino felt someone following them. She made her way quickly through the crowds in an attempt to lose whoever was following them, but she still felt him near. She made a quick turn around a corner and waited for whoever was following them. She saw the shadow of someone approaching the corner, but then the shadow retreated. Ino waits for a few more minutes but figured that whoever was following them must have thought he lost us. As Ino turned around, she bumped into someone. Looking for me? Ino's eyes widened at the voice and immediately backed away. Her eyes became slits as she prepared to fight, but it wasn't necessary. What's with that response? I thought you would be glad to see me, Naruto-kun. Ino was surprised to see her mate her, but then the surprise turned to annoyance. What are you doing sneaking up on me like that? Naruto was a little taken aback by her outburst. Sorry, Ino-chan. I didn't mean to. I saw you earlier carrying Sakura-chan and thought you might want some help. But when I was approaching you too, you quickened your pace, Naruto explained. Ino's eyes softened at hearing that he wanted to help her, and she felt guilty for yelling at him. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. I didn't know you wanted to help. Naruto saw Ino's quilty expression and walked up to her. He gently cooped the left side of her face. Hey, don't make that face. Only a smile should be on that beautiful face of yours, he complimented. Ino blushed at Naruto's compliment. Baka, were you ever this good at sweet talking? I'd like to think I was always a sweet talker, Naruto says, grinding. But none of the girls in our class would even look at me. Ino cast her gaze down, feeling ashamed at the way she treated Naruto during their days at the academy. Naruto notices her faraway look and moves her face to have her looking at him again. Hey, what did I tell you about making that face? Naruto told her. Why? Why what? Naruto asked. Even after everything I put you through when we were in the academy, why did you choose me? Ino asked on the brink of tears. Naruto brought his free hand to cup the other side of Ino's face. Do you really want to know why I choose you? He asked. Ino stared at him with eyes that were sparkling with tears and nodded. Naruto gently caresses her left cheek before replying, because you proved to me that you can change? Ino blinked several times in confusion. I don't understand. Naruto chuckled before answering her. Remember when you wanted to treat me to ramen? He asked. How can I forget, you were so happy you practically draged me all the way there. Ino commented dryly, which I'm very thankful for. Naruto replied smiling. Thank God you decided to pay for everything. I don't understand how you can eat so much and still stay so thin. Ino said in amazement. Well, I train a lot so that helps me stay thin. He said honestly. That's certainly true. I managed to lose all the baby weight I gained through training. Ino agreed with Naruto. Remember how surprised she was when she weighed herself in the bathroom after each of her training sessions and discovered that she was losing the extra pounds she gained during her pregnancy. See, and it helps keep me in tip-top physical shape and maintain the body you love so much. Naruto said suggestively. Ino blushed at his remark. She always loved ruining her hands over Naruto's strong muscular chest just as much as her fellow vixens, and Naruto enjoyed her features as well. Okay, enough with changing the subject. You were telling me how I proved to you that I can change. Oh yeah. I was really thankful for you taking me out to ramen, so I wanted to pay you back, and then I remembered that fancy restaurant I heard you talking to Sakura-chan about. Naruto continued. Yeah, it's really popular with couples and really expensive. How I dreamed to go there with the guy I like. Ino said dreamily. That explains the look on your face when I offered to take you there. Naruto said, remembering Ino's look of astonishment when he offered to take her there. Of course I'd be surprised. Never in my wildest dreams would I expect to go to one of the fanciest, most romantic places to eat in the village with you. Ino said, still not believing it. What's that supposed to mean? Naruto asked, not liking that Ino never saw herself settling with someone like him. Oh, don't be like that, Naruto-kun. I said yes, didn't I? Ino told him. All too well. Naruto agreed, remembering how Ino practically tackled him and gave him the tightest hug he'd ever received. I really like the dress you wore. Ino smiled at the compliment, remembering Naruto's look when she presented herself in a purple sleeveless dress that sloped at her thighs and huged the curves of her body really nicely. You didn't look too bad yourself, she said, remembering Naruto in his white dress shirt with the first 2 buttons undone and navy blue pants. I didn't know you had anything like that in your wardrobe. I got it during my training with Pervy Sage. He told me I would need this when I asked out a pretty girl. Naruto explained. Wow, for once that pervert was on to something. Ino told him. I'm just glad the restaurant didn't kick us out because you were with me. Naruto confessed, looking sad. Hey, if they kick us out because of that, then that place wasn't all that special after all. Ino defended Naruto. But you were actually the perfect gentleman, she complimented, as she remembered how Naruto held the door for her and pulled her chair back. It's these little things he did that helped her enjoy her evening and see Naruto in a new light. I wanted you to really enjoy yourself, Ino-chan. Naruto told her honestly. Oh, I did enjoy myself, and the jealous looks on the other girls was priceless. Ino said while laughing. You really surprised me though, Ino. Naruto said, causing Ino to stop laughing and stare at him. What do you mean? She asked. During our evening at the restaurant I really got to know the real you. You told me about your passion with flowers, and even though everyone knew you loved flowers, I bet they don't have the slightest idea how dedicated you are to your passion and the hard work you put into it. Naruto complimented, making Ino blush again. You were dedicated to your training and wanted to master your clan's jutsu, which you'll be passing that knowledge to our children. I wanted to know more about you, so after I dropped you off at your house I asked you out again. Which I said yes, of course. You took me out to pick some wild flowers, and on our 3rd date you took me swimming in a secluded lake. Ino listed off the numerous dates that Naruto has taken her on. Do you remember our last date? Naruto asked her, smiling as he took Sakura from Ino and placed her on his back. How can I forget? You took me on a romantic picnic on top of the Hokage monument. Ino said dreamily. And do you remember what happened after? Naruto asked suggestively. Ino blushed furiously at the memory. I could never forget that night. It was the night you seduced me. I seduced you? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. How else can you explain the perfect seating, the full moon, the stars visible, and with a beautiful view of the village? It was obvious you wanted to get me in bed with you, and it worked. Ino explained, starting to feel hot as she thought of what happened that night. And I suppose that the way you clung to me and putting me in contact with your breasts, not to mention how your hand kept caressing my thigh and the perfume you put on. Wasn't you trying to tell me to make love to you? Naruto countered. Are you saying that I was horny for you, Naruto Uzumaki? Ino asked, crossing her arms. That's exactly what I'm saying, Ino Uzumaki. Naruto countered, causing Ino to be taken aback. Bibaka, don't say my full name out in the open. Ino chastised him. Ever since he marked her and the other vixens, they have all taken his name. But I just love hearing it. Ino Uzumaki has a very nice ring to it, he said, smiling. Ino sighed before grabbing the sides of his face and kissing him on the lips. Baka. Ino mumbled in the kiss as she deepened it. As they both were getting into the kiss, they suddenly heard mumbling, causing them to instantly part and look around for the source. They then looked at Sakura, and she was mumbling something before falling back asleep. Oh, it's just forehead, Ino said, relieved. Maybe we should get Sakura home first, and then we can have some time together, Naruto suggested, and Ino nodded in agreement. They made their way towards Sakura's house, and along the way Ino told him what happened to Sakura and about her day. So you and your family are going to have a day off to yourselves, huh? Naruto asked. Yep, Ino replied before glancing around nervously. What's the matter, Ino-chan? Asked Naruto. Well, I was thinking maybe we could do something like that. Ino asked, which made Naruto stop walking. Naruto-kun? The whole pack or just the four of us? Naruto asked as he turned his head to look at Ino. Well, the four of us. Ino said timidly. Naruto smiled brightly. Sure, that sounds like a great idea, but we have to let the others know and maybe we can organize some family time with them too separately than all of us together. Naruto suggested. Sure, but for now let's focus on us. Ino said as she wrapped her arms around Naruto's left arm. The trio continued their way to Sakura's house and upon arriving were greeted by Sakura's mother Mabuki. After explaining to her what happened, she lets them inside and Ino guides them to Sakura's room. Naruto gently places Sakura on her bed while Ino checks out her room. She notices the medicine Sakura made last night, all ready for use. While Forehead has been busy. Ino commented as she read the recipe sheet. Not bad, Forehead, this can really come in handy, she said as she put one of the medicines in her weapons pouch. Are you sure you should be taking that? Naruto asked worriedly as he stood next to Ino. Sakura won't miss one. Ino explained as she saw Naruto's worried look. If it makes you feel better, I'll leave a note. Ino says as she picks up a nearby pen and paper. Naruto smiles as Ino writes the note and leaves it near the remaining medicine. She suddenly feels Naruto's arms snake around her waist and bring her closer to his toned chest. He then plants kisses along her neck, making Ino moan. Naruto-kun, what are you doing? Ino moaned as Naruto kept kissing along her neck. I'm kissing you. He simply responds as he kisses a spot between her neck and shoulder, causing her to shudder in pleasure. Stop. Ino said as her legs started trembling. But you always like it when I kiss you where I marked you. Naruto whispers sensually in her ear. Ino's fox ears emerge on top of her head as her body starts to get hot. Naruto then starts nibbling on her ears, driving her over the edge. Ino turns around, grabs his arm and drags him out of Sakura's room, right past the baffled Mabuki, and out of the house. She jumps into the air while still holding on to Naruto and they both disappear. They reappear in a secluded, wooded area and Ino lets go of Naruto's arm. Ino-chan, what the Naruto didn't finish as he looks into Ino's slitted eyes that are filled with primal lust before she tackles him onto the ground, and soon articles of clothing are flying everywhere. The sun begins to set and the Leaf Village is illuminated by lights. Back in the Haruno residence, Sakura's eyes flutter open as she begins to awaken, but then she bolts up as she feels an intense pain in her face. Ow, what hit me? Sakura asks no one in particular. She then remembers the spar earlier and groans. I can't believe Ino beat me. Where did she get that kind of strength? Sakura asked herself as she begins to heal her face, and then her mind went back to the last thing she remembered. Ino's eyes changed. Sakura then realizes that she's in her room. How did I get back in my room? She spots a piece of paper lying on her desk and gets off her bed to pick up the note. Dear Forehead, Naruto and I brought you home, so be grateful. I totally beat you today and with a knockout too, lol. Love, Ino. P.S. I took one of your new medicines, never know when I might need it. She read to herself. Damn Ino pig. Sakura exits her room and heads towards the front door, but she doesn't go unnoticed. Sakura, where are you going? Her mother asks. I'm going out for a bit, I'll be back soon, she said before she walks out the door. Sakura was heading towards Ichiraku, the only place she would find Naruto besides his apartment, but when she got there Naruto was nowhere to be found. Hey Sakura. The shop owner Tuchi greeted her. If you're looking for Naruto, he's not here yet, he tells her, already knowing why she's here. Oh, okay, thanks, she replied as she went somewhere else. Maybe he's at his apartment, she concluded as she made her way to his apartment, but along the way she spotted two people walking close to each other. Man, you were wild, Ino-chan. Hey, you started it, Ino said as she had her arms wrapped around Naruto's right arm, a satisfying smile on her face. And I finished it, Naruto said, head held high in victory but winces whenever he takes a step. You certainly did, Ino tells him lustfully as her eyes flash into slits before going back to normal. Hey Ino, do you want to go get some ramen? Naruto asked. Alright, but afterwards I want you to. Ino, Naruto? Naruto and Ino hear their names being called and froze. They slowly turned around to see a shocked Sakura. What were you two doing? Sakura asks as she looks at how close they are. As Sakura waited for an explanation, one word came to Naruto and Ino's minds. Shit! Explanations and suspicions. Shit! Both Naruto and Ino thought as they had been caught together by Sakura, who had a look of complete shock. Why does Ino have her arms around you, Naruto? Sakura asked as she observed how Ino has her arms around Naruto's left arm. Ino and Naruto were thinking of an excuse to tell Sakura. Ino's eyes began to wander and stopped at a magazine rack. On the cover of one of the magazines is a couple out on a date in front of a fancy restaurant. Suddenly Ino thought up an explanation, and it will kill two birds with one stone. Ino sent a mental message to Naruto explaining her plan. Because it's part of our job, duh, Ino answered Sakura while rolling her eyes. What? Sakura blinked, not sure if she heard Ino right. Remember that I told you I had another job and dragged Naruto into it? Ino asked, to which Sakura nodded. Our job is to check out places that couples might want to go on a date and rate them, Ino explained. Sakura stared at them before responding. But why Naruto? Why not? Ino responded nonchalantly, causing Naruto and Sakura to look at her in surprise. Let's face it, Sakura, if I choose any other guy they would be lusting after my hot body. Ino told her as she gestured a hand to her well-developed body. Why didn't you ask Choji or Shikamaru? Sakura asked. Choji would only comment on the food, and have you tried hanging out with Shikamaru? That guy would rather be laying on his back and watching the clouds. He's too lazy to even go to the locations, some of which are outside the village and the land of fire. It's all a drag to him. Ino told Sakura like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Sakura then turned her attention to Naruto. And why did you agree to this? Naruto scratched the back of his head nervously. Well, you see, Naruto tried to come up with an excuse but was coming up empty. Ino looked at his distraught face and decided to help him by thinking up something for him to say. It's practice for when I ask out a girl. Naruto told her exactly what Ino told him in his mind. Does that mean you're paying for everything? Sakura teased, as she knew that Ino had some pretty expensive tastes. Of course, Naruto has been the perfect gentleman. Ino defended Naruto, knowing full well what Sakura was implying. The place we're working for pays us well enough so my wallet doesn't suffer when I treat Ino like the princess she is. Naruto explained as he flashed Ino a smile causing her to blush. Sakura was surprised that Naruto made a comment like that, but even more so that he actually got Ino to blush. Naruto Uzumaki actually made Ino Yamanaka blush. Is the world coming to an end? Okay, I'll just leave you to get back to what you were doing, bye, she told them as she turned around and ran. Naruto and Ino watched Sakura disappear around the corner, and after waiting a few minutes breathed a sigh of relief. That was close. Naruto said. Yeah, but now she'll be suspicious of us. Ino said, annoyed. Well, look on the bright side. Naruto started to say before Ino looked at him with her right eyebrow raised. What bright side? She asked with a hint of sarcasm in her voice. At least we can go out without having to worry about Sakura asking what we are doing. Naruto finished smiling. Ino thought for a moment, and realized that Naruto was right. Whenever they went out she always worried that Sakura might discover them. But now that they had a cover as to why they are on dates, Sakura won't pry further into their business. I guess you're right for once. Naruto wrapped his arms around Ino's waist and brought her closer to him. I resent that. He told her before bringing his face closer to hers as he was about to kiss her. But before he could do it, Ino suddenly rammed her knee into his stomach, knocking the air out of him. Why did you do that? Naruto said as he was on his knees and holding his stomach. Baka, you know better than to do that in public. Ino told him as she began walking away. You could have at least gave me a warning. Naruto said as he got up and followed after Ino while still holding his stomach. As Ino and Naruto headed down the street, they were being closely observed by Sakura, who was on top of a nearby building. That Naruto, what was he thinking putting his arms around Ino like that? Her reaction was to be expected. Sakura said out loud. She began to think about what they told her, and it would explain why they have both been acting weird. No doubt Ino didn't want anyone to think that she was dating Naruto. Sakura shook her head while smiling. I feel kinda bad that Ino got stuck with Naruto. She began to laugh as she thought of various scenarios where Ino and Naruto would be awkwardly pretending to be a couple, like going to a club dancing, a fancy dinner, a romantic evening. But then she thought back to how she found them. Ino had her arms around Naruto, and they both looked really happy. It's as if they were a real couple. Sakura whispered to herself as she watched Naruto and Ino walk into Ichiraku. A smile spreads across her lips as she came to a realization. If Naruto and Ino start dating, then that means one less competition for Sasuke-kun, and Naruto would finally stop bothering me with all those date offers, she said cheerfully, but then the smile vanished as she imagined Naruto and Ino smiling happily as they walked down the streets holding hands. Of what am I thinking? It's for the best that those two get together, Sakura told herself as she made her way back home. But along the way Sakura was having doubts over what she said. The next morning Team 7 were in the Hokage's office awaiting to be assigned their mission. Tsunade was looking over mission reports when an aide came rushing in and handed a note to Shizun. Shizun read the note, causing her eyes to widen. She then handed the note to Tsunade, who upon reading it cast a glance at Team 7. It appears that Sasuke has been sighted within the land of fire, Swanda said, causing everyone's eyes to widen. I'm assigning Team 7 to investigate, and I'm also assigning Team 10 to serve as your backup. Do you know what Sasuke is doing in the land of fire? Naruto asks. I don't know what business he has here, but whatever it is can't be good. If there isn't anything else, then get going, Tsunade ordered, to which they all nodded. At the village gate everyone has gathered and checking their gear to make sure they had everything they need. Alright, is everyone ready? Kakashi asked, to which everyone nodded. Sasuke has been sighted near the fire temple, so he might be headed there, Asuma told everyone. So we'll head there to see if we can cut him off. Kakashi finished, and then they were on their way. They jumped from tree branch to tree branch at top speed, hoping to get to the fire temple as quickly as possible. Sakura's thoughts were a storm. On top of not getting any sleep last night due to her dreams of Naruto and Ino walking ahead of her and leaving her behind. But now the thought of encountering Sasuke again was too much. What was she going to say to him? How will she convince him to return to the village to her? She was so lost in her thoughts that she didn't see the branch that was rapidly approaching her. But before she collided with it, someone pushed her head down and avoided getting hit in the face while the person jumped over the branch using her head as leverage. Pay attention to what's around you, billboard brow, Sakura looked next to her to see an irritated Ino. Ino, what's going on in that empty head of yours anyway? Ino asked. I was thinking about Sasuke-kun. Sakura responded solemnly. What about him? Ino asked bluntly, which surprised Sakura. I was just thinking how I'm going to talk to Sasuke-kun. Sakura told her best friend. Ino stared at Sakura intently, which unnerved her. Are you going to talk him into coming back to the village? Yes. Sakura answered. What if he doesn't want to come back? Ino asked. Sakura's eyes widened, which Ino guessed meant she hadn't thought that far ahead. Listen, Sakura, if you can't even think that far ahead, then you're not ready to face Sasuke, Ino told her truthfully. Sakura was shocked to hear Ino of all people say this to her. The shock wore off and was replaced with anger. Just because I hadn't thought that far ahead doesn't mean I'm not ready to face Sasuke-kun. I'm more qualified than you to face him. Without anyone backing you up, all you'd be doing is getting in everyone's way. Sakura was abruptly cut off as Ino got in front of her and slapped her hard, leaving a red mark on her left cheek. Everyone stopped and turned around to see what happened. Naruto looked at Ino worriedly. Ino looked at Naruto, and she gave him a look that told him she needed some privacy. Naruto nodded and gestured for everyone to keep going and that Sakura and Ino will catch up. Kakashi looked at the two girls briefly before continuing on ahead. Ino glared at Sakura, who was looking away. Do you want to know why I slapped you? Ino asked. Was it because I said you would get in everyone's way? Sakura responded without looking at Ino. It was because you thought you were qualified to fight Sasuke, Ino said, making Sakura look at her. The only one that is truly qualified to face Sasuke is Naruto-kun, she told Sakura, not even realizing she added kun to Naruto's name in front of Sakura. I know, Sakura whispered. And yet you're not even doing anything to help him, Ino stated, making Sakura's eyes widen. What are you talking about? I've been training hard to help Naruto. I've spent day and night training my mind and body so I can stand next to Naruto as an equal, ready to bring Sasuke-kun back together, Sakura explained with determination. And yet when the time comes, all you do is sit on the sidelines while Naruto-kun does all the work, Ino told her. Sakura opened her mouth to protest but remained silent as she realized Ino was right. Ino took Sakura's silence as a sign to continue. I know that in the past I didn't take my training seriously, and it wasn't until our draw during the Chunin exams that I really started to take a long hard look at myself, and, you know what I saw? Sakura shook her and Ino smiled before responding. A hot, sexy kunoichi. Ino, I'm just kidding, forehead lighten up. But seriously, I saw that I still have a long way to go in order to become strong. I started training with my dad to master all the clan's jutsus, and even started training with you and Lady Tsunade, although you did have the advantage against me, Ino said, which caused Sakura to smile. But then Ino crossed her arms underneath her enormous breasts, and took on a superior pose. But now I've surpassed you, Sakura. Our spar yesterday was proof. I've found something worth fighting for, something I would gladly give my life for, and I'm not going to let anyone take it away from me, Ino said with determination. Sakura stared at Ino wide-eyed. She was emitting an aura of great confidence, strength, pride, and something else that Sakura couldn't quite put her finger on. It was the same aura that her mother emits. But why was Ino emitting an aura like her mother, and why did she seem so uninterested in Sasuke when she mentioned him? It didn't make sense. She then cast a glance at Ino's impressive bust, and wondered how the hell did Ino make her rack to be just as large if not a little bigger than Tsunade? Was it her diet? Or did she discover a method to increasing your breast size and was keeping it all to herself? Ino looked at where Sakura was looking and smiled knowingly. That's another thing I surpass you in forehead, Ino said while smiling smugly and making Sakura look at her. Her face turns red that she has been caught. Ino giggles at Sakura's flustered face before she reminds her that they need to catch up with the rest of the group. As they made their way across the treetops, Sakura kept casting quick glances at Ino. She kept playing back their conversation and noted how Ino spoke to her in a tone of boredom and uninterest when she mentioned Sasuke. In the past, Ino would gush over the mere mention of Sasuke's name. They had ended their friendship because of their rivalry over Sasuke's affection. So for Ino to suddenly go from being obsessed with Sasuke to not caring if he even exists was impossible. She then analyzed how Ino carried herself lately. Sure, Ino always carried herself with confidence in both her skills and appearance. But as of 2 weeks ago, Ino had an extra spring in her step, like she was on cloud 9. Then whenever she stopped by the Yamanaka flower shop to see her, Ino would be on edge, like she couldn't wait till her shift was over, and when it was she would bolt right out of the store. She once caught Ino stare longingly and a bit of jealousy at a mother playing with her baby as she showed him the pretty flowers. Now that was definitely strange for Ino to be jealous of a mother playing with her baby. Could Ino be thinking of wanting to be a mom? Sakura thought before shaking her head at that idea. It's way too soon for Ino be a mom, much less be thinking that. She then focused on Ino's eyes, which for 2 brief moments became slits. She didn't know what to make of it. I need to look up what kind of eyes they are before I can make any assumptions, Sakura thought as they continued towards their destination in silence. When they finally arrived at the fire temple, they were shocked to see it in ruins. What happened here? Sakura asked as she looked at the destruction. Ino didn't answer her as she ran towards the fire temple. Sakura followed soon after, and they both noticed several monks laying on the ground, battered and beaten. They soon spotted their team and saw Asuma speaking to a monk. They took Chiriku? Asuma asked, shocked. Yes, there was 3 of them. Two of them were wearing black cloaks with red cloud patterns. The monk began to say, "The Akatsuki?" Naruto said as Ino and Sakura joined them. Hearing that organization's name caused Ino to be filled with worry as she stared at Naruto. "What about the third person?" Kakashi asked. "He appeared to be a young man about the same age as your young friends here." He pointed to Naruto, Shikamaru and Choji. "So he was working for the Akatsuki?" Asama asked the monk. "I don't think so. He appeared out of nowhere inside the temple, and before we could ask what his business here was, the temple doors were blown open and the two members of the Akatsuki showed up." The monk explained. "We engaged them in battle, but we were easily overpowered by the young man. The only ones that managed to hold their own were the two Akatsuki members." "What about Chiriku?" Asuma asked. "He tried his best to stop them, but no matter how much he hit the individual with the three-bladed scythe, he didn't go down. And as for the young man, Chiriki's attacks were rendered useless against his swords." The monk told them. "He uses swords?" Shikamaru asked. "Yes, two of them. One was as black as the night, and the other as white as the snow. No matter what attacks Chiriku did, the young man would block them with one of the swords and laugh as they were made useless." The monk told them before casting his head down. Then he struck Chiriku down with a single slash. The monk said with sorrow in his voice. He laughed as he did it too. Another monk said as he approached the group. "How is everyone?" The first monk asked. "A little worse for wear, but all right." The second monk responded. "Sakura, Ino, Naruto, you three help out the monks while the rest of us will search the area for them. With any luck they haven't gone too far." Asuma ordered. "Wait, why can't I?" "Because you're their target, Naruto. It's better if you stay here." Kakashi cut him off. Naruto grumbled in annoyance but complied. Kakashi smiled underneath his mask before saying, "Don't worry, Naruto, you'll get your chance against them. Oh, before I forget, there's something else you should know." The monk said. "What is it?" Asuma asked. "When the two members of the Akatsuki took Chiriku, the young man called out the name of what I believe to be a hidden accomplice. He said, 'What is the accomplice name?' Choji asked. "Sasuke." The Konoha shinobi's eyes widened upon hearing the name. Sakura was about to say something when she felt someone grab onto her shoulder. She turned around to see that it was Ino, and before she could tell her to let go, the look Ino gave her silenced any protest. Kakashi nodded before he, Sai, Asuma, Choji and Shikamaru set off. Sakura and Ino began to tend to the injured with Naruto assisting them. Sakura's thoughts were consumed about Sasuke as she healed the monks. Naruto and Ino could easily tell that Sakura's mind was on Sasuke, which caused them both to sigh. After 2 hours they all decided to take a break. They all sat on some crates in a circle with a cup of tea in their hands. Sakura just stared into her tea as steam slowly rose from her cup. Naruto and Ino looked at her worriedly. Ino opened her mouth to say something when they saw one of Sai's ink birds flying towards them. Naruto opened up a scroll as the bird merged with it, producing words. "What does it say?" Sakura asked as Naruto read the message. "They need our help," was all Naruto told them as they quickly headed towards the direction the message told them the others are. As they quickly made their way through the woods, they were suddenly surrounded by several shurikens springing from the surrounding trees. "We can't avoid them," Sakura said as she looked at the incoming shuriken. "Forehead, I'm going to borrow your body for a bit," Ino said as her eyes turned to slits before glowing yellow. "What are you?" Sakura began to say before she felt her mind being pushed aside as her eyes glowed yellow. Ino was now in control of Sakura's body and commanded it to mimic what she was doing. They both gathered chakra to their hands before clapping and causing a shockwave that knocked away the shuriken. "Not bad." A voice echoed around them causing them to shudder. Ino released Sakura's mind as she scanned the area. "You've improved since the last time I saw you, Ino," the voice said. "Show yourself," Naruto shouted as Sakura regained her senses. Ino then saw someone walk from behind a tree in front of them, causing her eyes to widen. Naruto sensed her shock and looked at her direction to see a familiar person. "Sasuke!" Naruto shouted in shock. "Nice to see you, dope," Sasuke greeted. Sakura couldn't believe her eyes. Sasuke was right in front of them. "Sasuke-kun? What are you doing here, Sasuke?" Naruto asked, not letting his guard down. "I guess you haven't heard yet," Sasuke said in a monotone voice. "Heard what?" Ino asked, keeping a close eye on him. "That Orochimaru is dead," Sasuke answered her, causing their eyes to widen in shock. Did you kill him?" Naruto asked. "I was about to, but someone else stole my kill," Sasuke told them, a little annoyed. "Who?" Ino asked, knowing that killing a snake like Orochimaru is not an easy task. "It was one of the members of my team," Sasuke answered Ino. "Why did you attack the fire temple?" Naruto demanded. "I didn't," Sasuke simply said. "Would you elaborate on that, please?" Ino asked, annoyed. "We came there because the Akatsuki were heading there. We only wanted the 2 Akatsuki members, but the monks of the temple attacked my teammate, and he was just defending himself." "Just who is TH's teammate of yours?" Ino asked him. Sasuke just stared at them for a while before vanishing. They started looking around for Sasuke but couldn't find him. "He's someone with great power," Sasuke whispered behind Ino into her ear. Ino brought her right foot back to hit Sasuke, but he dodged it. "I didn't expect you to react like that, Ino," Sasuke commented as he looked at Ino's eyes that are filled with anger. "Like I didn't expect you to pull a stunt like that." Ino growled. "You've definitely changed more than Sakura, in more ways than one." Sasuke commented as he took in Ino's impressive features. Suddenly he felt bloodlust as he barely avoided a claw swipe from Naruto, but he wasn't able to avoid another Naruto coming up behind him and punched him hard in the face, sending him crashing through several branches until finally stopping when his back collided against a tree. "What's with you, dope?" Sasuke asked as he slowly got up from the tree and wiped the corner of his mouth from blood. Naruto instantly appeared in front of Sasuke and grabbed him by the throat with his right hand. "Watch what you say, team. It could be the last thing you ever say," Naruto threatened. "Is that so?" Sasuke asked as he activated his Sharingan. He stared into Naruto's eyes and they both were no longer in the forest but a damp sewer. "Don't think you got me," Naruto said, smirking. Suddenly the environment changed from a sewer to a beautiful field of flowers. Sasuke was shocked that Naruto was able to break his Sharingan. "But how?" "It's thanks to my lovely partner," Naruto told him, and on cue the wind picked up and gathered numerous flower petals together that formed into Ino. "Now this is a much better scenery than that mucky sewer," Ino said as she walked to Naruto's side. "Since when were you capable of countering my Sharingan?" Sasuke asked, eyeing Ino carefully, which caused Naruto to tighten his grip on his throat. "Hey, eyes where I can see them," Naruto ordered. "You can let him go now, Naruto-kun, he won't be doing anything," Ino told him as she stood beside him. Naruto complied and loosened his grip enough to allow Sasuke to free himself and back up a couple of feet. "Alright, what's going on?" Sasuke asked as he massaged his neck. "You tell me," Ino said as she pulled out a note from her weapon pouch. "You snuck this into my weapons pouch when you got close to me. It said to meet you in the designated spot and come alone. I just wanted to talk," Sasuke said. "About what?" Ino said with narrowed eyes. "About whether you're interested in being with me," Sasuke said, smirking. There was silence for a moment before Ino spoke up. "Are you serious?" "I am if you are," Sasuke said. Ino stood in silence with her head bowed down and body trembling. Naruto looked at her in concern until she started laughing. Naruto and especially Sasuke looked at Ino in confusion. Ino was holding her stomach as she continued to laugh. "What's so funny?" Sasuke asked, annoyed that she was laughing at him. Sorry, it's just I find it ironic that in the past I wanted to get you to notice me, but you didn't seem to care, and now when you're finally showing interest and may have already moved on to someone else," Ino explained as she wiped a stray tear. "Moved on to who?" Sasuke asked curiously. "Before I tell you, let me ask you something. What are you going to do now that Orochimaru is gone?" Ino asked, crossing her arms. "I am going to kill my brother," Sasuke said like it was obvious. "Then what was with wanting to ask me to be with you?" Ino asked. "In the event that I do kill my brother, I plan to rebuild my clan," Sasuke answered her. "So you want me to be a baby factory?" Ino asked, shaking with rage. "No, I also want a partner," Sasuke told her. "But why me? I get that I'm hot and irresistible and all," Ino boasted. "It's because you're from a well-established clan," Sasuke told her. "I see how it is. You want someone who's on the same class level as you," Ino said, sighing. "That's just the type I'm interested in. You're the same, right?" "That's why you went for me," Sasuke told her. Ino paused for a while to give it some thought before answering. "Yes, it's true that it was the reason, but that wasn't the only reason. I wanted someone who will comfort me when I'm stressed, someone to be there for me, someone who treats me like a treasure," Ino said dreamily as she cast a glance at Naruto. "Alright, I answered your question, now answer mine. Who did you move on to?" Sasuke asked. Ino smiled as she wrapped her arms around Naruto's left arm. "Why, it's Naruto-kun, of course. I figured," Sasuke said, rolling his eyes. "He did act really possessive of you. You'd expect me to let some guy ogle Ino-chan right in front of me? Forget it, she's mine," Naruto declared, wrapping his arms around Ino's waist, bringing her closer and pressing her large breasts against his strong chest. Yeah? Sasuke said, slightly annoyed at their closeness. What's the matter, team? Are you jealous of us?" Naruto mocked. "Shut it, dope," Sasuke spat out. "I'm not hearing a no." Naruto snickered. "Knock it off, Naruto-kun," Ino said, lightly jabbing her elbow into his stomach. "So how did you two end up together?" Sasuke asked curiously. "The same way every couple ended up together, by dating," Ino said simply. "With you two, I find it hard to believe that it was just simply dating," Sasuke said, making air quotations. "I won't deny that there were other circumstances that helped as well," Ino said as she scratched the back of her head nervously. "I'm sure there is," Sasuke said, looking around. "Hey, Sasuke?" Naruto called his best friend's attention. "What?" Sasuke said, looking at Naruto. "Did you also give one of those notes to Sakura-chan?" Naruto asked, feeling a lump on his throat. Ino looked at Naruto and knew why he asked that question. She then looked at Sasuke to know what his answer will be, although a part of her knew what the answer would be and dreaded how Naruto would react. Sasuke looked at Naruto briefly before giving his answer. "Why would I?" Ino cringed at how Sasuke voiced the answer. She cast a glance back at Naruto, and as expected his eyes were wide in surprise and Ino could see rage building in his cerulean orbs. "What did you say?" Naruto asked, fist clenching in anger. "Why would I give Sakura a note asking to meet in private? She's not from an established clan, and for someone who was trained by one of the legendary Sannin, Sakura is weak," Sasuke answered, which made Naruto even angrier. Ino placed her right hand on Naruto's left cheek and made soothing motions. Naruto started to calm down a little but was still upset about Sasuke said about Sakura. Throughout our genin days Sakura has always been useless, that's why I said Ino has changed. She's actually gotten stronger where Sakura has not, Sasuke said as he crossed his arms. Ino glared at Sasuke, what did she ever see in someone like him? Naruto gritted his at each insult Sasuke said about Sakura. I think we've spent enough time in here, Sasuke said as he closed his eyes. Yes, you've said quite enough. Ino muttered as the world around them began to fade. Sakura watched Naruto hold on to Sasuke's throat as both their eyes as well as Ino's were glowing yellow. Then the glow started fading and Naruto released his grip on Sasuke's throat. Later, Sasuke said as he turned around to leave. Wait, Sasuke-kun. Sakura called out, which caused Sasuke to stop and turn his head to face her. What is it, Sakura? Sasuke asked as he stared at her coldly. Come back with us to the village, Sakura pleaded. You're so annoying, you have better things than me to worry about, like your friends that sent you a message for help, Sasuke told her as he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto and Ino looked at Sakura to see the pained look in her face. Naruto walked up to her and placed his hand on her right shoulder. It's okay, Sakura-chan, he'll come around soon. Naruto lied. Sakura looked back at him with tears in her eyes. Why yeah, he just needs time, she said while rubbing her eyes. We should probably hurry. Ino cut in. Naruto and Sakura nodded as they all continued to head to their friends, but dark clouds started to gather above them. They could hear the sounds of a battle just ahead of them, which caused them to speed up. When they finally made it to a clearing, they saw the area was a mess. Parts of the ground were littered with holes and even scorched in same areas. They soon spotted their friends who looked battered, but their eyes quickly focused on two people fighting and their eyes widened in horror at what they saw. Asuma on his knees, a deep gash running from his left shoulder down across his chest. In front of him is a young man about their age wearing a black zip-up hoodie over a dark blue shirt with an image of a soaring eagle is on the front. He has on blue jeans with gray and black sneakers. He's holding a white sword on his left hand and a black sword on his right in a downward position. The individual is smiling as lightning flashes behind him. He then begins to laugh as Asuma's body falls forward. Ino watches this in slow motion as Asuma's body hits the ground. Asuma-sensei! Asuma-sensei! Ino screamed in horror as she ran towards her fallen teacher. The young man stopped laughing and noticed Ino coming towards him. Another one? The young man asked no one in particular as he prepared to slash Ino with his black sword. Ino saw him getting ready to slice her in two, but instead of stopping she just sped up. The young man raised an eyebrow but thought she was just asking to get killed. But when he swung his blade he hit nothing but air. What the? He said, surprised as Ino disappeared in a yellow flash. Behind you. The young man looked behind him to see Ino just as she punched the side of his face and sending him flying. Ino started going through several hand signs before calling out her attack water style. Vixen shower. Ino spat out numerous water foxes that quickly approached the young man. Heh. The young man sneered as pointed his white sword at the incoming attack. Immediately after making contact with the sword the foxes disappeared and the young man was only hit with the water they were made of before landing on his feet. What the hell? Ino said, surprised that her attack seemed to have failed. Be careful, his swords have the ability to absorb attacks, Kakashi warned her. This could be tricky, Ino thought as she eyed the young man and cast a glance at her fallen sensei. I need to attend to Asuma-sensei's wounds. Ino turned her back to the young man and started to heal Asuma. She turned her back on him? Sakura thought, shocked. She's left herself wide open, thought Shikamaru as he was too injured to move. Big mistake. The young man muttered as he charged at Ino and in an instant was already on top of her. Say goodbye. He brought his black sword down, but before it could hit Ino, he saw a yellow flash and his attack was blocked by Naruto. Don't you dare touch her, growled Naruto as he attempted to push him back. Is she your woman or something? The young man asked as he started pushing Naruto back. That's none of your business, shouted Naruto as he was being pushed back. What's wrong? No matter how hard I push my kunai against his sword, it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Your attempts to block me aren't going to work, the young man told Naruto as his blade started cutting through Naruto's kunai. It only needs to work for a little while, Naruto said with a confident smirk. The young man's eyes widened when he sensed the presence behind him. Shinaro! Sakura yelled as she threw a chakra-enhanced punch at the young man. TCH. The young man brought his left foot back and blocked Sakura's punch. No way! Sakura said, shocked that he blocked her attack, which would normally shatter his leg. As if a little girl's attack would do anything. He mocked as he turned around and at the same time bringing his right leg and kicking Sakura across the face and sending her thrashing across the ground. Sakura-chan! Naruto screamed her name in horror as she watched her body thrash across the ground before finally coming to a halt. Don't take your eyes off me, the young man said as he slammed his palm against the back of his black sword, causing a shockwave that knocks Naruto away. Naruto-kun! Ino called out to her mate worriedly, pausing briefly from healing her sensei. Doesn't anybody know not to take their eyes off their opponent? The young man said in a bored tone as he slashed Ino with his white sword, only to have her disappear in a yellow flash and reappear next to Sakura. Hey, forehead, wake up, Ino said while shaking an unconscious Sakura. she began to heal Sakura's wounds when she noticed that her chakra was really low. How can I be low on chakra already? The Flying Thunder God technique doesn't even consume that much chakra. Ino thought. I bet you're thinking, why is my chakra so low already? If you paid attention to your friend earlier, it's because of my sword, Blanc, the young man told Ino as he showed her his white sword. I managed to get you just as you teleported to where your friend is, so now you don't have enough chakra to finish healing your sensei. Ino cast her gaze to her sensei and knew he was right, but then she remembered something. She searched her weapons pouch and found the medicine she took from Sakura. She opened the glass container and poured a green paste-like substance on Azuma's wounds, and almost immediately the wounds began to close. Wow, Forehead made some incredible stuff. As Ino continued to apply the medicine on her sensei's wounds, the young man appeared behind her and was about to stab her with his black sword when he suddenly froze. Oh great! He muttered in annoyance as he looked down at his shadow and saw something connected to it. Shadow position complete. Shikamaru said as his shadow was connected to the young man's. I didn't think you had enough chakra for that? The young man said calmly. Ino and Naruto provided me enough time to recover a bit. Shikamaru explained. I wonder about that, he said as he started to move his legs. Shikamaru struggled to maintain his hold on the young man, but he didn't have enough chakra. Damn, I can't keep a hold of him for long. Naruto, Ino, one of you better do something quick. Ino turned around and saw the young man raising his right foot. She pulled out a kunai from her weapons pouch and proceeded to stab him just as Shikamaru's shadow position wore off, but was instantly blocked by his black sword. Too little, too late, he mocked. Rasengan. The young man turned his head to see Naruto coming at him from behind with a Rasengan. He lifted his white sword to block, and when Naruto's attack collided with his sword, it completely faded. I told you, that won't work, the young man told Naruto. Third time's the charm. The young man focused his attention back to Ino, and that's when he saw a now awake Sakura jump over Ino with her right fist covered in chakra. This time for sure, Shinaro, Sakura said as she threw her fist at the young man, but he did something completely unexpected. He leaned his head forward to meet her fist. Are you crazy? Sakura asked in disbelief as her fist collided with the young man's head. The force of the blow was so strong that it caused the ground underneath the young man's feet to tremble. Something's off. The force of Sakura's attack should have shattered the ground, Kakashi thought as he continued to observe the battle and search for any weak points with his Sharingan. Hey, is that it? The young man asked while grinning as he looked up at Sakura. And no way, Sakura said, not believing that he took on her chakra-enhanced punch with a headbutt. Sasuke was right, you really are a weakling, he mocked as he pushed his head against Sakura's fist and pushing her away. He then disengaged from Naruto and Ino and spun around while dragging the tips of his swords against the ground, creating a spiraling vortex that blows them away. Naruto, Ino, Sakura. Choji screamed their names as they rolled across the field. Just how strong is he? Kakashi thought as he activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. The young man looked at his right arm and noticed a black vortex that is trying to suck in his arm, along with his black sword. Without seeming bothered by it, he simply slashes it with his white sword and the vortex disappears. He can even stop that? Kakashi said aloud as he clutched his left eye. So I guess that's all you got, huh? He asked Kakashi and then glanced back at the others. It's about what I'd expected, but the blondies probably still have a couple more tricks up their sleeve. He pointed his swords at Naruto and Ino, who are rising to their feet. But she's done, he said as he looked at Sakura, who is struggling to stand. I think it's time to put her out of everyone's misery. His white sword began to glow. He swung his sword and created a crescent energy wave that headed towards Sakura. Sakura-chan, Naruto yelled out, trying to warn her. Sakura looked up and saw the attack. No, she was cut off as she was engulfed in a big explosion. Sakura, Kakashi yelled, fearing the worst. Ino just stood there stunned, her mind trying to process what just happened when the smoke began to clear and revealed the result of the attack. Sakura was unharmed, although she appears shaken, and her eyes were wide as she stared at the remaining smoke as it finally began to clear. The young man smiled as everyone's eyes widened at seeing Naruto with his arms out. He shielded Sakura with his own body. And Naruto? Sakura said his name shakily as she stared at his back. Hey, are you okay, Sakura-chan? Naruto asked while glancing back to look at her. Why, yeah, she responded. That's good, Naruto told her, smiling as he closed his eyes and his body went limp as it began to fall back. Naruto! Sakura called out his name worriedly as she caught him. Wow, he just saves your weak ass again, the young man mocked, causing Sakura to glare at him. Don't give me that look. If you were stronger, then maybe you could have dodged that or something. But no, you're too busy thinking about your precious Sasuke-kun to take anything seriously. Sakura's eyes widened at this. How did he know about her infatuation with Sasuke? Seeing the look on her face caused the young man to smile. You're pretty easy to read, which makes sense why everyone's walking circles around you. That's really pathetic. You're wrong, Sakura defended herself. Really? Then tell me one time where you were actually of any use to anybody. When have you ever used any original justice? You may have been trained by Tsunade, one of the legendary Sannin, but there's nothing special about you, he told her. Sakura felt the sting of each of his words, everything he said was true. Despite training under Lady Tsunade, she still felt like the gap between her and Naruto and Sasuke was still great. Even Ino had surpassed her now. She felt so useless. Was everything she had worked so hard for been for nothing? The only thing you are actually useful for is as a baby factory. But who would want to breed with a useless little girl like you? I feel bad for any future kids you have since they're stuck with your useless DNA. He said, laughing. Sakura could feel tears in her eyes as she cast her head down in shame. Her will was being crumbled away as she let his words sink in. Tears started to fall on Naruto's face as Sakura finally broke down. Don't listen to him, Sakura. What he says isn't true and you know it. Ino tried to reassure her best friend. Don't bother trying to cheer her up. It's about time she accepted that she's useless. The young man told Ino as he glanced to a nearby tree. Isn't that right, Sasuke? Everyone looked towards the direction he's looking and see Sasuke standing on top of a tree branch. Sasuke jumped from the tree branch and landed next to the young man. Where are the Akatsuki, Shin? The young man, now identified as Shin, looked around and noticed that the Akatsuki members are gone. Oops, I guess they got away from me, he said, smiling sheepishly as he scratched the back of his head. Unbelievable, was all Sasuke said as he jumped back into the forest. I guess that's all for today then, see ya. Shin waved goodbye as he followed after Sasuke. Once she sensed that they wouldn't come back and checking her sensei's injuries, Ino rushed over to where Naruto and Sakura are. Sakura. Ino tried to get her best friend's attention, but Sakura continued to sob uncontrollably. Sakura, get a grip, we need to tend to Naruto-kun's injuries, Ino said, shaking Sakura's shoulders. Hearing this snapped Sakura out of it, and she looked at Naruto. He has a large gash across his chest from Shin's attack. Sakura's eyes widened and she immediately began to heal it. But because they didn't have enough chakra, they couldn't fully heal Naruto, so they headed back to the fire temple before nightfall. They arrived at the temple just as the sun began to set and the Konoha shinobi minus Naruto were gathered in a private room. Their wounds have been healed, although Asuma was still not fully recovered but didn't want to be left out of the discussion. I've already sent a message to Lady Tsunade informing her of the situation, Kakashi told everyone. Any ideas as to what Sasuke and that Shin guy are after? Ino asked everyone. No, Shikamaru said plainly. Do we at least know what jutsus he uses? Ino asked, to which everyone shook their head. Then what do we know about this guy? She yelled in frustration. Well, we do know that his swords absorb whatever attack we throw at him, Asuma said. There's more to it than that. His black sword appears to absorb any physical attacks while his white sword can absorb chakra-based attacks, Kakashi explained. Then that's why my water jutsu didn't work on him. He absorbed the chakra from it, and only leaving the water. Ino now realized. Let's not forget how he withstood Sakura's strength. He may not look it, but he's really durable. Shikamaru added in. It seems Sasuke has allied himself with someone powerful, Choji said. I believe we have yet to see his true abilities, Kakashi suddenly said, gaining everyone's attention. What do you mean by that, sensei? Sakura asked. His demeanor. Before you, Ino and Naruto arrived, we saw his battle with the Akatsuki members. He was very relaxed and seemed to be enjoying the battle. All his movements were precise and his skill level would be comparable to an elite jonin. He's also unpredictable, rash and headstrong, but he's able to make the situation go exactly the way he wants, Kakashi explained. Doesn't that remind you of someone? Ino asked, smirking. Sakura knew who Ino was talking about, but then she remembered what Shin told her. You're useless. There's nothing special about you. No. Everyone turned to look at Sakura, who was looking down, and her pink hair covered her eyes. That guy is nothing like Naruto, Sakura told them without looking up. Ino looked at Sakura with understanding and walked up to her. She placed her hands on Sakura's shoulders, causing her to look up at her. Your right forehead, that Shinbaka acts more like Sasuke anyway. No wonder they teamed up. Ino laughed, which caused Sakura to smile. Well, I think it's time we call it a night. We need to be fully rested in case we confront Sasuke and Shin again, Kakashi said as everyone nodded and began to head back to their assigned rooms. Sakura, however, had something else in mind as she went in another direction. She quietly made her way down the hall until she came across a door. She took a deep breath before slowly turning the knob and entering the room. She was greeted to the sight of a bandaged Naruto resting comfortably on a bed. Even though the lights were off, the room was still illuminated by the moonlight coming through the window. Sakura slowly walked towards Naruto until she stood next to his bed. She just stared at Naruto's peaceful face, and then shifted her focus to the bandages around his chest, and she was filled with regret. I'm sorry, Naruto, she began to say as she sat on a nearby chair. You always get really hurt because of my uselessness. Tears started to fill her eyes and her body started trembling. I almost let you die. I promised myself that I would get stronger so that I could protect you, like how you always protect me. Tears now freely started to slide down her face as Sakura continued to pour her heart out. I'm sorry, Naruto, I'm so sorry. I really can't do anything for you. Even being trained by the 5th Hokage herself isn't enough, Sakura said as another sob rocked her body. It seems that no matter how strong I seem to get, there are others out there who are far stronger. What's the point of me continuing to be a kunoichi if all I do is get in the way? Sakura shouted in frustration. Throwing in the towel already? Sakura quickly turns around to see Ino leaning against the far wall with her arms crossed. Ino? How long have you been there? she asks nervously. Long enough. Ino answers as she gets off the wall and walks towards Sakura until she stands next to her. So you're just going to give up as soon as things start getting too hard? Ino asked while staring at Naruto. You heard that, huh? Sakura asked, lowering her head in shame. Every word. Ino responded, sounding disappointed. Ino, it's really for the best. I'm only slowing Naruto down. Sakura confessed without looking at Ino. Are you even listening to yourself, Sakura? Ino asked, now turning to Sakura and staring at her with narrowed eyes. If I stay a kunoichi with Team 7, then Naruto will continue to get hurt because of me. Sakura told her, still not looking up. Naruto will continue to get hurt regardless if you're there or not, Ino began as she placed her hands on Sakura's shoulders. But with you there, you can make sure he comes back alive. Sakura's eyes widened upon hearing that. Ino saw this and smiled. You know I'm right, Sakura. Whenever Naruto goes through a tough battle, you're right there to heal him. You're there to make sure he doesn't overdo it and get himself seriously injured. Naruto needs you, Sakura. Sakura realized that Ino was right. She made sure that Naruto didn't train himself too hard, but he still ends up doing it. She kept Naruto from jumping headfirst into a battle without a plan. Ino's right. I am useful to Naruto, Sakura thought, but then was reminded of Shin's cruel words. Ino sensed that something was still troubling Sakura and knew what it was. It's not going to be easy to forget what Shin said, but instead use those insults as a driving force to prove him wrong, she declared. Right. Sakura agreed, feeling a little better now. Now off to bed. I'll keep an eye on Naruto for you, so you can rest your mind. Ino told Sakura as she was pushing her towards the door. Wait a minute, at least let me see for myself how he's doing? Sakura pleaded as she tried to turn around, but Ino had a tight grip on her shoulders. He'll be fine, Sakura, I got this. Ino reassured her as she opened the door and pushed Sakura out of the room. Good night, Ino said as she closed the door, leaving Sakura to stare at the door. I guess I should take her advice and get some rest, sighed Sakura as she made her way to her room. Ino leaned against the door and listened to Sakura's retreating footsteps. Once she was sure that Sakura went to her room, she got off the door and went back to Naruto's bedside. Baka, why do you keep scaring me like this? Ino whispered as she took a hold of Naruto's left hand. You're always jumping into situations without a second thought, never even thinking about the consequences, but you always turn the situation in our favor. Ino's hands start to glow yellow. You're lucky to have a vixen like me. In case forehead can't heal you, I can. With that said, Ino planted a kiss on Naruto's lips. She then placed her glowing hands on his chest, and the yellow glow spread all over his body. I take it that things didn't go well? Asked a lean-built young man leaning against a tree. He's average height, straight white hair, almond-shaped purple eyes, and pointed teeth. He wears a purple, sleeveless shirt with blue pants, sandals, and a belt around his waist with water bottles attached to it. He also has on another belt stuck to his chest, which he uses to carry his kubikuru bocho. Things rarely do, Shin responded as he descended from the treetops. How did things go on your end, Suigetsu? Sasuke asked in his usual monotone voice. Great, she's currently by herself, and even better, she's outside the village, so if you want to speak to her privately, now is your chance. Suigetsu told him, smiling that at least his mission was a success. Good work. Sasuke thanked him as he started walking away. You're wasting your time with her, Shin said, which caused Sasuke to stop. How? Sasuke asked without turning around. Because she already has her heart set on someone else, was all Shin said as he sat down and proceeded to take a nap. Sasuke stood still for a few seconds before continuing to make his way towards his former village. Meanwhile, a young woman was making her way through the woods. She had just gotten back from a mission with her team which involved guarding a merchant and his family. The mission was a success, and after reporting home she eagerly went to her secret spot. She was enjoying the gently night breeze and took a deep breath before exhaling. It's a lovely evening, isn't it, Sasuke-san? The young woman asked politely as she suddenly stopped. You saw me with your Byakugan, didn't you, Hinata? Sasuke asked as he came out of the forest. Not quite, answered Hinata as she stared at the lost member of the Rookie Nine. Hinata, I've come to ask you to come with me, declared Sasuke as he slowly approached Hinata. Why? Hinata simply asked. Sasuke stopped in his tracks as he observed Hinata. She had a very confident demeanor. She spoke to him with clarity. She met his gaze instead of looking at the ground. The Hinata standing before Sasuke was different. I want you to be mine and help me revive my clan. He answered her question, which caused her eyes to widen. Sasuke noticed that this caught her off guard and decided to push it further. Hinata, you're from the Hyuga clan, a clan that rivals the Uchiha and posses the Byakugan, Sasuke said as he started walking towards her. Is that why you want me for my bloodline? Hinata asked nervously as she began backing away from Sasuke. No, you are a gently and kind person who will raise our kids with love and affection, Sasuke began. Also, you have the perfect body for the task, Sasuke told her as he stared at Hinata's huge breasts, which are bigger than Lady Tsunade's and are stretching her already loose-fitting, lavender and cream-colored hooded jacket with lavendered cuffs and her mesh armor underneath it. He then shifted his sight to her nicely well-shaped hips that are stretching her navy blue pants. Hinata noticed where he was looking and blushed. Stop it, Sasuke-san, Hinata shrieked. You are truly the ideal woman, Hinata, Sasuke complimented, but Hinata just shook her head. Please stop this, she asked softly as her back collided against the tree. I won't hurt you. Sasuke responded gently as he stood in front of her. It's not that. Hinata whispered. She has her head down and her hair is covering her eyes. What is it then? Sasuke asked as he lifted his right hand and was about to place it against Hinata's left cheek when she suddenly grabbed it with her left hand. I might hurt you, Hinata said as she lifted her head to look at Sasuke with her Byakugan activated. Sasuke was taken aback by this sudden turn and could feel massive amounts of killer intent coming from Hinata of all people. Sasuke pried his arm from Hinata's grip and jumped back a couple of feet. Hinata's killer aura began to subside and she deactivated her Byakugan. I'm so sorry to have to do that, Sasuke-san, but you left me no other choice, apologized Hinata. Sasuke noted that her earlier demeanor had returned. Perhaps it wasn't a good idea to corner her. No, you're right, I went too far and I'm sorry. Sasuke apologized in an attempt not to get Hinata angry. Also, I must decline your offer, she stated firmly. Why? Sasuke asked. Because I already have someone who I love and you won't want a woman who's always thinking of another man whenever she's with you, Hinata explained. Sasuke knew that she was right. Like he told Ino, he wanted a companion that would help him with his goals. It was then that he realized something. Your heart belongs to Naruto, right? Why, yes, Hinata answered, her entire face becoming red. But his heart already belongs to someone else, Sasuke answered. However, to his surprise, Hinata just smiled. Yes, I know it does, she stated happily, which confused Sasuke. Why are you smiling about that? It's terrible to know that the person you love will never love you back, Sasuke asked with a hint of emotion. Thank you for your concern, Sasuke-san, but there's something I know about Naruto-kun that you're not aware of, Hinata responded while giggling. What is it? Sasuke asked curiously. I'm sorry, but that's something you have to ask Naruto-kun, Hinata told him. Sasuke was becoming frustrated. Back at the academy he was always surrounded by fangirls he wasn't interested in, but now that he was finally starting to show an interest in one of them in particular, she rejects him for the dead last, and now Hinata, who in his opinion has become the hottest kunoichi in all the elemental nations, rejected him also, and she knows a secret about Naruto too. If you won't become mine willingly, then I'll make you, Sasuke told her before disappearing. Hinata's eyes widened at what he said, and before she could react she was suddenly slammed against the tree behind her, and her arms were pinned above her head. Sasuke-san, please stop, Hinata managed to say as she felt Sasuke's hand squeeze her throat. I'm not going to let Naruto have this amazing body, Sasuke said lustfully as he stared down at Hinata's huge breasts, which are giggling as she struggles in his grip. Sasuke-san. Hinata could feel herself losing consciousness. Don't worry, it'll all be over soon, Sasuke said as he felt Hinata's struggles starting to stop. Once her struggling had completely stopped, he released his grip on her throat and reached for the zipper of her hoodie. Just as he got a hold of it, Sasuke let out a piercing scream as he felt an intense pain coming from his shoulder. He released Hinata's arms and reached for his shoulder. He felt something soft and long before it released him, and he quickly jumped back. Sasuke was panting as he held his bleeding shoulder. He looked back to Hinata and was shocked at what he saw. Her face was pushed out resembling a dog. Her jaws were covered in blood and she was growling. What are you? Sasuke blurted out as his body shook in fear. How dare you? Hinata whispered. Her body was trembling in anger as she stared at Sasuke with her Byakugan fully activated. My heart, my mind, my life and especially my body belong to Naruto-kun, Hinata growled as she charged at Sasuke. Sasuke barely managed to dodge Hinata's claws as it sliced through a tree. Driven by fear, Sasuke pulls out his sword and channels his lightning chakra through it. He then proceeds to slash Hinata in half, but it's blocked by a kunai. No way, Sasuke thought as he looked closely at the kunai, and it was covered in lightning. You have lightning affinity too? Among other things, Hinata told him as she started to spin. Sasuke realized that it was the Hyuga clan's rotation technique, but something was different. Hinata was surrounded by fire, and it began to spread outwards. Sasuke jumped out of the way but suffered some burns. Damn it! Sasuke cursed as he was being overpowered by Hinata. However, he didn't have time to rest as a fox made a fire lunge from the swirling fire and headed towards him. Fire style. Fireball jutsu, Sasuke announced as he shot a fireball at the fox. But the fireball was absorbed and made the firefox bigger. Sasuke looked at the firefox in fear. This might be the end for him. However, the fox simply exploded, causing Sasuke to be blown away. Sasuke thrashed across the ground until he stops when he hits a tree. When did Hinata get this strong? Sasuke thought as he struggled to get to his feet. But then he noticed Hinata in front of him in the gentle fist stance. Sure, Sasuke was cut off as Hinata began her attack. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Hinata declared as she finished her attack and launched Sasuke through the tree. Sasuke looked at Hinata before losing consciousness, only to suddenly wake up and see Hinata in front of him looking worried. Is everything alright, Sasuke-san? She asked timidly. Sasuke looked at Hinata and then his surroundings. There were no signs of a battle. You were about to ask me something, Hinata reminded him nervously. Sasuke thought for a minute before speaking. It's nothing. I think I already know your answer anyway. Oh, I'm okay then, Hinata said as she watched Sasuke turn around and leave. Sasuke-san? she called out to him. Sasuke stopped and turned to face her. What? He asked emotionless. Hinata visibly flinched but still worked up the nerve to ask. Do you plan to come back to the village? Sasuke stared at Hinata, which made her uncomfortable. I don't know. He simply answered as he turned back around and resumed walking away. I see. Hinata said dejected. Naruto-kun won't be happy to hear that, she thought. Be careful on your way back to the village. It isn't safe for a young woman with a body like yours to be out at night. Sasuke warned. Hinata blushed furiously. Thank you for your concern. I'll be careful. She answered as Sasuke disappeared into the woods. You be careful too, Sasuke-san, she whispered as she continued on her way. Hinata walked for several more minutes until she reached her destination. She looked at the cave opening before stepping inside. Deep in the cave, a sandy blonde vixen is sleeping peacefully with 7 kits nuzzling into her. Suddenly her ears perk up and she quickly lifts her head to look for the cause of the noise and spots Hinata. Oh, it's just you, Hinata, the vixen said, relieved. I'm sorry that I startled you. Hinata apologized as she stared at the kits the vixen is guarding, 2 of which are squirming around. Right on time, the vixen said, smirking. Yes. Hinata laughed as she approached the vixen and picked up 2 kits with dark blue fur. The kits looked at her with confusion. You don't recognize me, huh? Hinata asked as the kits stared at her in confusion. Let's fix that, shall we? She told them gently as dark blue fur started spreading across her face. Hinata removed her clothes as the dark blue fur spread across her body. Soon her entire body was covered in dark blue fur, and she had a pair of fox ears on top of her head, along with a fluffy tail which is called a brush. Is that better? Hinata could as the kits started smiling and giggling. Mommy is happy to see you too, she whispered gently. So how was your day? The sandy blonde vixen asked. Well, Hinata began to tell the other vixen about her day as her kits were suckling on her enormous braids. Wow, so Sasuke confronted you, huh? The vixen asked, amazed. In a way, yes, but to him it didn't go very well, Hinata said as she nuzzled her kits. That'll teach him. The vixen laughed and Hinata joined her. Their laughter was suddenly interrupted when Hinata's kits let out a yawn. Ah, are my precious babies tired? Hinata asked, to which her kits responded by nuzzling into her bosom. I'll take that as a yes, the vixen said as Hinata made herself comfortable and formed a closed circle with their kits in the middle. Well, good night, Hinata told the vixen as she rubbed her face. Good night, Hinata, the vixen replied as she nuzzled back, and they both placed their heads down and fell asleep. The following morning Sakura was making her way to Naruto's room. She had trouble sleeping last night as she was plagued by nightmares of her encounter with Shin. Despite what Ino had told her, Sakura still felt the pain from Shin's words. Upon arriving at his door, Sakura reached for the doorknob. When it started turning, she stepped back as the door fully opened to reveal Ino. Ino? Sakura asked, surprising Ino. Forehead, what are you doing here? Ino asked, taken aback by Sakura's visit. I came to check on Naruto, and I should be asking you the same thing, Sakura told her, raising an eyebrow. Same as you, I told you I've got it covered, Ino quickly replied. Sakura knew that Ino did tell her that last night. Okay, so how is he? Why don't you ask him that yourself? Ino said, smiling as she moved aside to let Sakura see inside. Sakura's eyes widened upon seeing a now awake Naruto as he was putting on his jacket. Naruto! She shouted happily as she engulfed him in a tight hug. Good morning to you too, Sakura-chan. Naruto greeted her with a smile. Sakura backed up a bit and inspected him. All your injuries are healed? She asked. Yep, did you forget that I heal fast? Naruto reminded her. Of course, but you look like you were seriously injured, Sakura said, remembering how bad the injury to his chest was. Don't worry, Sakura-chan, I haven't become Hokage yet, so there's no way I'm going to die, Naruto proclaimed. Baka, Sakura whispered as she wiped away a stray tear from the corner of her eye. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and cast a glance at Ino, who just winked at him. Hey, I'm starved, let's get something to eat, Naruto announces while rubbing his stomach. You're definitely healed all right, Sakura said with a smile as all 3 of them went to meet with the others in the dining hall. After breakfast, the Konoha shinobi made their way back towards the village. Upon arriving, they immediately went to Tsunade's office, and she was currently rereading the report Kakashi had sent her last night. She puts down the report and looks at the gathered shinobi. I'm glad to see all of you here. From the report Kakashi sent me, you all faced a very powerful enemy who is aligned with Sasuke, Tsunade tells them. Yes, milady. The individual we encountered was able to best all of us, including the 2 Akatsuki members we were pursuing, Kakashi told Tsunade. Yes, your report backs that up. However, there's been news circling around the elemental nations, Tsunade said, gaining their attention. What news? Asuma asked. Orochimaru is dead, she said simply, causing everyone but Naruto, Sakura and Ino's eyes to widen in shock. It was this Shin guy that killed him too. Everyone looked at the open window behind Tsunade to see Jiraiya. Hey, he greeted everyone. Use the door like everyone else, Baka. An annoyed Tsunade told her former teammate. Jiraiya is right though, this Shin character is going to be a major threat, and we need to bring him down. Everyone nodded in agreement, and Tsunade dismissed them, but Kakashi stayed behind. Kakashi, you mentioned in your report that Naruto and Ino used a jutsu that no one should know, she said, waiting patiently for Kakashi's answer. They used the Flying Thunder God technique. Kakashi told them, causing both their eyes to widen. Are you positive? Tsunade asked. Yes, I'm certain. Kakashi reassured her. There was no way he would mistake that jutsu. How do you suppose they learn it? Jiraiya asked out loud. Has their behavior been strange lately? Tsunade asked Kakashi. For Naruto, he's like he's always been. I can't say for sure, but on the way to the fire temple she slapped Sakura. Kakashi told her. I see. Tsunade said as she leaned back in her chair. Kakashi, I want you to report to me if they show any more odd behavior or strange jutsus. Understood. Kakashi bowed before he exited Tsunade's office. So Ino and Sakura are at odds with each other. Could it have something to do with Ino's victory during that spar? Tsunade thought. What's on your mind, Tsunade? Jiraiya suddenly asked, bringing Tsunade out of her thoughts. Nothing, I'm just concerned with the events that Kakashi and Asuma's teams dealt with yesterday. Tsunade told him. Who would have thought that someone that strong would be out there? Jiraiya commented. Jiraiya, have you heard anything regarding the name Shin? Tsunade asked, turning her chair around to face him. I can't say that I have. Jiraiya tells her honestly. In that case, see what you can find out about him. She tells him, to which he nodded. I'm on it. Jiraiya says before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Tsunade just stared out the window at her village. She then opened a drawer and pulled out a sake bottle. This job is really stressful. I need a drink, she said as she opened the bottle, and as she was about to take a drink the door suddenly opened and Shizen walked in holding some papers. Lady Tsunade, these need your. Shizen cuts herself off when she sees Tsunade holding the bottle of sake inches from her lips. Lady Tsunade, what do you think you're doing? She screamed, causing Tsunade to cringe. So where are we heading off to now, Sasuke? Suigetsu asked as they all walked across the ocean using their chakra to remain above the water. We're going to Orochimaru's southern hideout. Sasuke told him. Why do we need to go there? Suigetsu asked curiously. To get Karen? Was all Sasuke said. Karen? Do we really need her? Suigetsu asked, annoyed. He really couldn't stand Karen. Yes. Sasuke told him in a tone that meant he didn't want to be asked again. Can you believe this? Suigetsu asked, turning to Shin. Well, we need a full team for what comes next, right? Shin responded, grinning madly. He was itching for a fight. Suigetsu looked at him and sighed. Great, as if one lunatic was bad enough. He muttered to himself as an island came into view. They soon set foot on the island and entered the hideout. They came across several prison cells with prisoners looking at them. So the rumors were true after all. The trio stopped as a young woman with red hair that is short and spiky on the right side, while longer and straight on the left side stands in front of them. She glares at them with her crimson eyes. You managed to kill Orochimaru? No. Karen said, tilting her head to the right. I already defeated him, but before I could finish him, he appeared and killed him instead. Sasuke said, motioning to a grinning Shin. So you killed an already weakened opponent? Karen asked, adjusting her brown narrow glasses. I just put him out of his misery. Is that so wrong? He asked sheepishly. Idiot. Karen said in disgust. Karen, I want you to join us. Sasuke told her, getting straight to the point. No way, I've been left in charge of all these prisoners. Why should I go with you? Karen told him. Sasuke looked back to Shin and Suigetsu. Free all the prisoners, he ordered, to which they both nodded their heads and started slashing the prison bars with their swords, setting the prisoners free. What do you think you're doing? Karen shouted as Suigetsu and Shin keep on slashing the prison bars, freeing prisoner after prisoner, relieving you of your duty. Sasuke said plainly. Karen glared at Sasuke and looked to see Shin and Suigetsu turn a corner. She then brings herself closer to Sasuke. Hey Sasuke-kun, let's get out of here, just the two of us, she said in a sultry voice. What about Shin and Suigetsu? Sasuke asked, confused at Karen's change of attitude. Forget them, they'll just get in our way. Karen urged him as she snuggled his left side. I beg to differ. Sasuke said as Shin and Suigetsu came back. We freed all the prisoners, Shin announced, as Karen quickly separated herself from Sasuke. Karen has agreed to join us, Sasuke informed them. What? I never said that, Karen denied. But didn't you just say, fine, since you keep insisting I'll join you? Karen said, causing Sasuke to be confused again by her actions. Alright then, let's move on to our next destination, Sasuke informed everyone as they made their way out of the hideout. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, Sakura and Ino were training with Tsunade. They were all engaged in some light sparring, with Ino and Sakura going against Lady Tsunade. Sakura threw a chakra-enhanced punch at Tsunade, but she grabbed Sakura's wrist with her right hand and using the momentum to spin her around and threw her towards Ino. Ino manages to catch Sakura, and as soon as Sakura is on her feet she immediately charges at Tsunade and aiming a kick to her face, but she brought up her left hand to block it. Tsunade then grabbed Sakura's leg and tossed her aside just as Ino closed in and attempted to punch Tsunade on her midsection, but she managed to bring up her right leg to block her attack. They both then jumped back to gain some distance. However, it was short-lived as Sakura again rushed towards Tsunade and threw several punches at her. What's with Sakura? Tsunade thought as she dodged her apprentice's fists. Since their training session began, Sakura has shown much more enthusiasm, and she's taking on an offensive role this time. Tsunade felt a presence behind her, and quickly jumped up to narrowly avoid a punch from Ino. She then does a falling axe kick between Ino and Sakura and creating a huge crater. Both young kunoichis roll around the floor before stopping a few feet away from the crater. Well done girls, your taijutsu seems to be improving. She complimented them. Thank you Lady Tsunade. Thanked Ino. Let's take a short break shall we? Tsunade suggested. If it's alright with you milady I'd like to continue training on my own for a little while. Sakura asked her master. It's alright by me, but Sakura try not to push yourself too hard. Tsunade told her worriedly. You don't want to pick up that habit from Naruto, do you? Ino joked making Sakura smile slightly. She and Tsunade walked towards a nearby tree and sat under the shade and watched Sakura practice her taijutsu. Ino, did something happen during your encounter with Shin? Tsunade asked while still looking at Sakura. You mean besides us getting our butts kicked? Ino asked as she looked at Tsunade to see her staring at her with a serious face. Well, Ino began to explain to Tsunade her version of what happened. I see, so that's why she's more into her training. Tsunade said as she watched Sakura form a familiar Hazain, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Sakura announced as a clone of herself appeared next to her in a puff of smoke and immediately they began to spar. I didn't know she could do the shadow clone technique? Tsunade asked but soon after being created, the clone puffs out of existence and Sakura falls to her knees panting. She doesn't have enough chakra to use it effectively. Ino commented as she and Tsunade stood up and hurried towards Sakura. Sakura, are you alright? Tsunade asked as she bent down next to her apprentice. I'm fine milady, I just pushed my limits a little past what I could handle. Sakura assured her teacher. Didn't Lady Tsunade warn you not to push yourself too hard? Ino reminded her. Sorry. Sakura apologized as she stood up with help from Ino and Tsunade. Sakura, why don't you go take a break? I'll spar with Ino until you recover. Tsunade ordered. Sakura nodded in agreement, and went to the tree that Ino and Tsunade were resting on earlier. She sat under the shade and pulled out a bottle of water she carried in her ninja pouch. She watched Ino and Tsunade begin their spar and watched them for several minutes until her mind began to wander. She began to think of ways she could improve herself, like increasing her chakra reserves, learn a new jutsu, or maybe train herself using a weapon. She started listing in her head the things she could do to increase her chakra reserves when the ground began to shake, which brought her out of her thoughts. She found the source of the shaking as she saw Ino in the center of a crater. You've appeared to have a better grasp at this, Ino. Tsunade said smirking. I had time to learn how much chakra I want to put in my attack. Ino replied grinning. I see. Tsunade said as she gathered chakra in her right fist. Let's put that to the test, shall we? With that said, Tsunade rushed at Ino and Ino could feel an overwhelming power coming from the Hokage as she closed in on her. Ino could feel her body shaking and unable to move. She closed her eyes as she prepared for the hit. But then she felt something warm against her bosom, and when she opened her eyes again, she found herself back at her den. She felt something nudge against her bosom and she looked down to see her kits looking at her with worried eyes. It was then that Ino realized that her kits are feeling what she's feeling. They're feeling her fear. Ino had forgotten that because of the link she has with her kits they can feel what she feels and vice versa. Ino hated herself for making her kits feel fear, more importantly her fear. She nudges and licks them to reassure them that she's fine now. Ino closes her eyes and when she opens them again, she's back in the training field with Tsunade closing in on her. Ino takes a deep breath and her shaking stops. Her eyes briefly become slits as she charges at Tsunade while gathering chakra to her right fist. Tsunade saw that Ino was paralyzed by fear due to her overwhelming presence, and when she saw her close her eyes, she was about to stop, but then Ino opened her eyes and the fear that she saw in them was gone, now replaced with newfound strength. She saw Ino take a breath and then charge at her. Tsunade could feel great strength coming from Ino as she closed in. This strength that Tsunade began to think as her fist collided with Ino's, causing a powerful shockwave around them. Whoa! Muttered Sakura as she brought her arms up to shield herself against the shockwave. Ino and Tsunade stood still with their fists still collided until Tsunade pulled hers back. Not bad, Ino, not bad at all. Tsunade said impressed. You were testing me, weren't you, milady? Ino asked. Yes. Tsunade confirmed. Why? Ino asked. No reason. Tsunade said as she walked to Sakura. Ino stared at her, retreating back a little confused. That was strange. She thought. So Sakura, are you ready to join us? Tsunade asks. Why yes. Sakura responded, a little surprised at what had occurred. Alright you two, let's work on your chakra control, and to wrap it up you two will face off against each other. Tsunade explained, to which they both nodded. So where are we headed to now? Karen asked in a bored tone. We're going to the northern hideout. Sasuke told her. Where Orochimaru did his experiments on the curse mark? Suigetsu asks. So we're going to encounter his experiments? Cool. Shin said smiling. What the hell are you smiling about? Karen asked him, annoyed. This guy was just plain weird to her. I'm just excited. Shin responded, grinning like a madman. Where the hell did Sasuke find you? Karen asked no one as she adjusted her glasses. The group kept walking until they spotted a grand building between two tall rock pillars. As they approached the building, an odd-looking humanoid creature jumped in front of them. Who are you? Are you more of Orochimaru's goons? Then you're going to die. It shouted as it lunged at them. Humph. Shin smirked as he was suddenly behind the creature with his white sword pointing to the side. The creature suddenly started changing until it became a man. What did you do? The man asked shakily. I gave you back your humanity. Shin simply said as he started walking ahead followed by the others and leaving the man in disbelief. They encountered many more creatures like the man they encountered but Shin made quick work of them. Karen, I need you to locate Yugo's chakra. Sasuke ordered. So that's who we came here for, I should have known. Karen grumbled but did as she was asked. She closed her eyes and began to concentrate. I found him, Karen said as she led her team. They walked down a hallway that split in two directions. He's to the left, Karen pointed out. Shin and Suigetsu went ahead and just before Sasuke could follow Karen stopped him. Yugo's this way, she told him pointing to the opposite direction from where Shin and Suigetsu went. But then why did you? Come on, hurry. Karen cut him off as she dragged him to where Yugo is. Suigetsu and Shin continued walking down the hallway when they reached a dead end. The hell? Hey, Suigetsu cut himself off when as soon as he turned around he didn't see Karen nor Sasuke. Why that little? Meanwhile Karen and Sasuke were nearing Yugo's holding cell. He's in here, Karen stated as she went to reach for the door handle. Wait, Sasuke said as he grabbed Karen's hand before she could grab the handle. Let me. Sasuke grabbed the handle and as he turned and opened the door, something rushed out. Gotcha! The individual inside yelled as he attacked Sasuke with his monstrous-looking left arms and slammed him against the wall. Sasuke-kun! Karen cried out worriedly as she tried to see through the smoke. Ha 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 ha, that's what you get for opening the door, the young man said mockingly in a tone that bordered on the insane. However, as the smoke began to clear it showed that the young man's attack was blocked by a massive hand coming out of Sasuke's back. So another copycat? The young man yelled as the giant hand pushed him back. Yugo. Sasuke addressed the young man in front of him calmly. I didn't come here to fight, I just want to talk. Talk? What's there to talk about? Yugo shouted as he launched himself at Sasuke. Sasuke jumped out the way as Yugo's attack collided with what remains of the wall behind him. Yugo, I came to take you away from here, Sasuke told him as the monster arm receded into his back. Are you insane or something? I can't leave this place now that he is no longer alive, Yugo told him as he once again launched himself at Sasuke but he simply jumped out of the way. That's it, Sasuke-kun, wipe the floor with him. Karen cheered gleefully as Sasuke continued to dodge Yugo's attacks and leading him further down the hallway. Whoa, looks like we're missing the party, a voice called out, as it emerged from the smoke to reveal that it was Shin and Suigetsu. Karen, you're going to pay for sending us the wrong way, Suigetsu told her in an annoyed tone. You two went the wrong way, I didn't have anything to do with that, Karen told him. We only went where you told us to go, Suigetsu argued. Hey, where's Sasuke? Shin asked, stopping any further argument from the two. He's fighting Yugo and they went down this hallway, Karen told them. So he's having fun without us? That's not fair, Shin complained but then started heading in the direction Karen pointed. Where do you think you're going? Karen asked. I'm going to where Sasuke is. Hopefully he didn't finish the guy off before I can fight him myself, Shin responded as he continued on his way to the battle. What's that guy's deal anyway? Karen asked out loud, a tick appearing on her head. He's just an oddball, he fits in just fine. Suigetsu grinned. Wait! Are you lumping me in the same category as you three? Karen shrieked as she adjusted her glasses. Why not? You're the biggest oddball here, Suigetsu stated as he began to walk down the hall. Hey, get back here! Karen yelled as she went after Suigetsu. Down the hallway Sasuke continued to dodge Yugo's attacks. I can never leave this place, not with Kimimaro no longer here, Yugo shouted as he continued his attack on Sasuke. But suddenly one of his punches was blocked by a black blade. So you're Yugo, huh? Nice to meet you, Shin greeted him. Who the hell are you? Yugo demanded. He could feel something off when his fist collided with Shin's black sword. Your next opponent, Shin responded as he pushed Yugo back. Shin, don't make the situation worse, Sasuke ordered. Wouldn't dream of it, Shin said as he charged at Yugo. So you want to die too? Yugo asked as a bladed edge formed on his left arm and blocked Shin's black sword. As if you could actually kill me. Shin smirked as his black blade started to cut through the blade from Yugo's arm. The hell? Yugo said shocked before pulling away from Shin. No backing out now, Shin said as he threw a left punch at Yugo hitting him square in the face and sending him through the wall. Shin, stop! Sasuke demanded but Shin ignored him and jumped after Yugo. Die! Yugo said as his right arm partially transformed to have cylinders which he channels chakra through and it shoots out like a geyser to boost his punch. Heh! Shin smirked as he brought his black sword up in front of him to block Yugo's attack. Huh! Yugo was surprised that Shin blocked his attack and he felt that same strange feeling as before. What's the matter? Don't tell me you were all talk after all. Shin mocked as did an uppercut on Yugo's arm. He then kicked Yugo's stomach sending him through another wall. Shin then jumped after him and saw Yugo on his back completely open. He smirked as he closed in for the kill, but just then Sasuke appeared in front of him. I said enough, Sasuke commanded, his Sharingan activated as he stared into Shin's eyes. Huh! Shin found himself restrained by large thick spikes embedded in his joints, making it impossible for him to move. Genjutsu, he thought as his body crashed through a wall and causing debris to fall on top of him, burying him. Now that's taken care of, Yugo. Sasuke turned around, but Yugo ran past him and towards Shin. Now who's all talk? Yugo screamed as he neared the pile of rubble Shin was buried in, but just then an arm sprouted from the rubble, grabbing Yugo by the throat. What the? Shin's head emerged from the rubble. Gotcha. He smiled victorious as he brought the tip of his black sword against Yugo's stomach. Shin! Sasuke called out. He was surprised that Shin broke his genjutsu. Shin glanced at Sasuke before breaking out in laughter. Relax, Sasuke, I'm just messing with him. I wasn't actually going to kill him, maybe. Shin reassured him through his laughter as he released his grip on Yugo. Yugo, now will you hear me out? Sasuke asked. Yugo looked at Sasuke before glancing at a smiling Shin. I feel strangely calm now. Yugo thought as his mind was no longer filled with murderous thoughts. Alright, I want you to come with me, Yugo. Sasuke said, getting straight to the point. I can't, Kimimaro is the only one who can stop me when I go out of control. Yugo states as he looks around nervously. I can stop you, Shin said, raising his hand. I know why you came to Orochimaru, and I can help you control your murderous impulses. What? Yugo stares at Shin with wide eyes. Yeah, you saw for yourself that I am more than capable, and besides, if you wanted to be free from your dark thoughts, then there is the alternative. Shin tells Yugo as he lifts up his white sword and the blade gleams in the light. Yugo gulps. There is that. He thought. Knock it off, Shin. Yugo, what he said is true. If you come with us, we'll keep you under control, Sasuke assured him. Yugo looked between Sasuke and Shin as he weighed his options. Shin then walks up to him and wraps his arm that's holding his white sword around Yugo's shoulder. Let me put it more simply. Join us or die. Sasuke closed his eyes and sighed in annoyance at Shin's antics, but before he could reprimand Shin, Yugo spoke up. I'll join you. Shin smiled. Welcome to the team, buddy. He told him as Karen and Suigetsu showed up. Did we miss anything? Suigetsu asks. Nothing important, but say hello to our newest member. Shin tells them, grinning. Great, another weirdo. Karen thought with annoyance as she watched Shin jump around excitedly. My body's killing me, complained Sakura as every step she took was torture. Why don't you just heal your body, forehead? Ino asked as she walked next to Sakura and not suffering as she was. I'm out of chakra. Sakura groaned. Well, don't worry, I'll fix you up, Ino assured her as she patted Sakura on her back, causing her to wince in pain. Whoops, sorry. Sakura glared at her best friend. Ino had bested her in today's training, and she had this smug look on her face. Sakura sighs in exhaustion. Despite putting in more effort, she still ended up struggling today and lost for the second time to Ino. Noticing her friend's gloomy expression, Ino spoke up. What's the matter, Sakura? Still upset that I beat you again? Sakura gritted her teeth. Oh, how Ino always loved to rub her accomplishments in her face. Don't get cocky, Ino pig. I'm just bummed that I didn't do so well in training today, she told her. Don't say that, you put in a lot more effort today than usual, Ino said, trying to cheer up her best friend. Effort alone won't help me get stronger. Really? Have you met Naruto? Ino asked while raising an eyebrow. Okay, you got me there, Sakura admitted as a small smile tugged at the corners of her lips. Remember that these things take time and there are no shortcuts, Ino lectured. Wow, Ino, when did you get so wise? Sakura asked, sounding slightly impressed with her best friend's wisdom. I've always been wise, forehead. You were just too busy trying to get Sasuke to notice you, Ino mocked. Sakura glanced at Ino. Once again she made a jab at Sasuke and she couldn't understand why. Hey Ino, what are your feelings about Sasuke-kun? What do you mean? Ino asks, now looking at Sakura. What I mean is, do you still like him romantically? Sakura clarified. Hell no, Ino answered immediately. Sakura was taken aback by Ino's immediate response. Okay, what's going on, Ino? Sakura demanded as she stood in front of Ino. What do you mean? Ino asks while tilting her head to the side. Don't play dumb, you know exactly what I mean. I know for a fact that you loved Sasuke-kun as much as I do, and now all of a sudden you don't care, Sakura practically shouted. Ino stared at Sakura before sighing. Look, Sakura, first of all, I was never in love with Sasuke. I just had a crush on him at the beginning, but now I just consider him a friend. But if he continues to act like a jerk, he won't even be that. Ino thought the last part. Sakura couldn't believe her ears. Just a crush? Sakura thought as she looked into Ino's eyes, searching for any hint of a lie. She didn't find any. You're serious, aren't you? Dead serious, Ino told her, watching the look of disbelief on Sakura's face with narrowed eyes. But how can you just move on? Sakura half asked, half demanded. It's easy, I just tell myself that there are better men out there who are more than happy to notice my existence. I mean, who wouldn't notice all this? Ino said while striking a pose. Sakura looked at Ino from head to toe and her face went red. And another thing, what is with your body suddenly becoming so developed? Sakura demanded. Especially these. She brought up her hands and grabbed Ino's massive breasts. They're freaking huge. Sakura started fondling Ino's breasts. Hey, hands off the merchandise, Ino said as she pried Sakura's hands from her massive breasts. What did you do to get your breasts like that? Sakura demanded. Sorry, forehead, but it all comes down to good genetics. Ino tells her while smirking. Oh, how she was enjoying this. There's no way it's just genetics. Sakura shouted. I don't feel bad, Sakura. Some of us are just more developed than others. Ino mocked, which caused Sakura to grit her teeth in anger. Come on, cheer up, will you? How about we go get some dango? How does that sound? Ino asked good-naturedly as she smacked Sakura's back, causing her to scream out in pain. It appears that we've encountered a problem. Spoke a hologram of a man as he addressed his companions, who were also holograms. Some nobody just showed up and made a mess of things. Kakuzu reported. More like you and Haiden made a mess of things. One of the holograms mocked. Do you think you can do better, Deidara? Kakuzu asked in a warning tone, glaring at him. I know I can do better. Deidara continued mocking. That's enough, we shouldn't be fighting amongst ourselves. Ordered the main hologram. This isn't the only issue. Another one of the holograms spoke, this one sounding feminine. Sasuke is on the move and one can guess what his objective is. She finished as all eyes were on Itachi. There's more to it now. Another of the holograms spoke. What is it, Zetsu? Sasuke has gathered up a team and among them is the person who bested Haiden and Kakuzu. Zetsu explained. They could pose a real threat to us. We must take care of them at once. The main hologram ordered before addressing Itachi. Will you be able to deal with your brother Itachi? I'll deal with Sasuke, there's no need to worry. Itachi assured him before his hologram disappeared. Everyone resume your missions and be on the lookout for Sasuke and his group. He ordered before disappearing and everyone else doing the same. In another location, Sasuke and his new team have just finished gathering supplies. Alright, listen up. Sasuke began to say. From this moment on we will be Team Hibi and our mission is to hunt down Itachi Uchiha. He finished. How will we find him? Yugo asked. By finding his friends and beating the information out of them. Shin answered as he slammed his fist against his palm. That's one method, but I had something else in mind. Sasuke told them as they began to move. So what's our mission, senpai? A man wearing a spiral orange mask and a black cloak, with red cloud patterns asks his partner. We're going to go take care of a little problem, Toby. Deidara explained as reached underneath his rope and into a bag attached to his belt and pulled out 2 clay birds, which he then enlarged to be able to ride on them. I'm sure Itachi won't mind if I clean up his mess. Deidara thought as he and Toby climbed on to the clay birds and flew off. So what did you want to talk to us about, Granny? Naruto asked as he and Sakura were summoned to the Hokage's office. Tsunade's eye twitched with annoyance but let it go. There have been reports that Sasuke is on the move and he's freeing Orochimaru's prisoners. She told them and waited for their reaction. As she expected, Sakura's reaction was of shock, but Naruto's reaction surprised her. Instead of being shocked, Naruto's eyes narrowed as if he was contemplating what Sasuke's actions could mean. She cast a glance beside her to see Kakashi also noticing Naruto's reaction, and her teammate just smirks. It also appears that Sasuke has gained 3 more allies. Tsunade explained further, and this time Naruto's eyes widened in shock. Sasuke-kun has more allies now? Sakura said aloud as an image of 3 mysterious figures stood beside Sasuke and Shin. Granny, we must do something about Sasuke. Naruto stated, surprising everyone. Naruto? Sakura whispered as she stared at her teammate in surprise. And what do you propose we do, Gaki? Tsunade asks after getting over her surprise earlier. It's simple, we go after the only thing Sasuke wants. Uchiha Itachi. Naruto tells her. Tsunade looks into Naruto's eyes and smirks. Very well, brat, I'll assign another team to go along with Team 7, meet at the village gate in about an hour. Dismiss. Naruto and Sakura nodded before exiting the Hokage's office. The 3 remaining occupants stood quiet before Jiraiya broke the silence. For a second there I thought he was going to suggest we take Sasuke down. Jiraiya said, laughing slightly. That's Naruto for you, you can't tell what he's going to say. Kakashi commented, giving a nice smile. Maybe we're worrying about nothing. Tsunade thought as she got to work on choosing the team that will accompany Team 7. Meanwhile, Naruto was making his way to the Yamanaka flower shop. He needed to see Ino before he went on his mission. When he arrived at the flower shop, he saw Ino at the register helping a customer. Here you are, ma'am. Ino said as she handed over a bouquet to an older woman. Thank you so much. The woman thanked Ino as she made her way out the door. You're welcome, ma'am, please come again. Ino told her with a smile. Naruto smiled before opening the door for the woman. Thank you, young man. She thanked Naruto as she exited the shop. No problem, ma'am. Naruto replied as he eyed Ino. The woman noticed how Ino and Naruto gazed at each other and smiled. Oh, to be young and in love. She thought as she went on her way. Excuse me, miss, I'm looking for a very attractive woman. Naruto said as he entered the flower shop. I think you need to be more specific, handsome. There are a lot of attractive women that come by here. Ino said, playing along. Maybe, but the woman I'm looking for is unique. Naruto began as he approached the register. She has a pair of beautiful blue eyes, that you can easily lose yourself in them. Naruto stopped in front of Ino as he stared into her eyes. She has the fairest skin among any other woman I've met. He brings up his right hand and places it against the left side of her face, caressing it. She is very stylish and knows exactly which outfit will complement her beauty. Keep talking, stud. Ino tells him as she leans into his hand. She has this wonderful scent that drives me wild. He says huskily as his eyes become slits. Is that so? Ino asks while smiling. Yes, and she has very kissable lips. Naruto said as he leans his head close to Ino's. I bet she's a good kisser. Ino says as she starts to lean towards Naruto with half-closed eyes. You have no idea. Naruto whispers as his lips are inches from Ino's. I think I do. Ino whispers as she closes the remaining distance and kisses Naruto's lips. The kiss is filled with an intense passion and longing. Naruto licks Ino's lower lip, asking for permission to enter, to which Ino complies. His tongue darts inside meeting hers and they fight for dominance. Naruto eventually won and his tongue began exploring Ino's mouth, tasting everything. Their bodies started to get hot, and Ino brought up her hands and ran her fingers through Naruto's golden locks. Naruto brought his right hand down Ino's neck, towards her left breast and gave it a squeeze, causing her to moan in the kiss. Unfortunately, all good things had to come to an end as they parted and leaving a trail of saliva connecting their mouths. That's some kiss, stud. Ino said between breaths. Same here. Naruto replies as he leans his forehead against Ino's. So what mission are you being sent on? Ino asked as she closed her and inhaled his scent. How'd you guess? Naruto asked. You only ever kiss me like that when you have to go on a long mission. Ino responds as she opens her eyes to reveal that they're slitted. So what's the mission? Granny Tsunade is sending Team 7 along with another team to capture Uchiha Itachi. Naruto tells Ino. Ino's eyes widen and she brings her head up to look at Naruto. Uchiha Itachi? The guy that nearly captured you when you went to look for Lady Tsunade? She asked. That's the one. Naruto confirmed, smiling nervously. Are you crazy? Ino screamed, causing Naruto to reel back. Why the hell are you going after him? Because if we capture him, we can lure Sasuke back to the village. Naruto explained. Ino stared at him in disbelief. So you're willing to put yourself in danger for someone like him? She said coldly. Naruto was slightly taken aback by her tone. Ino, Naruto-kun, things aren't what they used to be. We have a family now, you can't continue being so reckless. If we lost you, Ino trailed off as tears began to form in her eyes. Naruto understood what Ino was going to say. He walked around the counter and embraced his mate. Ino wrapped her arms around Naruto, burying her face in his chest as she let her tears fall. They stayed that way for several minutes until Naruto felt that Ino was beginning to calm down. I'm sorry for making you feel this way, Ino-chan, he began to say as he rubbed Ino's back. But I'm not being reckless, I promise. I have everything planned out, I'm not going to get myself captured, he assured her. Ino lifted her head from Naruto's chest to stare at him. Naruto-kun, what if you encounter Sasuke's team? Then we'll fight and capture them? Naruto responded. Baka, what are you going to do if you fight Shin? Ino shouted. Oh, him. Naruto scratched the back of his head nervously. He overpowered 2 of the best jonin from Konoha and 2 Akatsuki members. Even we couldn't so much as put a scratch on him, argued Ino. Well, we didn't use our full power since there were witnesses. Naruto defended. My point exactly, you won't be able to go all out with everyone watching. Ino told him. And I won't be there to back you up, but I will. A startled Naruto and Ino quickly turned towards the direction of the voice, but relaxed as soon as they realized who it was. Hinata-chan. Naruto called out happily as he went to greet her. Hi, Naruto-kun. Hinata greeted bashfully as Naruto lifted her off the ground and spun her around. Naruto-kun, she squealed joyfully, before Naruto set her down and covered her lips with his in a heated kiss. Hey, Hinata. Ino greeted as she walked around the counter to stand before them. Hinata regretfully parted from the kiss to address Ino. Hello, Ino. What did you mean earlier? Ino asked. Lady Tsunade has assigned Team 8 to assist Team 7 in capturing Uchiha Itachi. Hinata explained. That's awesome, see Ino-chan? You have nothing to worry about, Naruto said excitedly as his hold on Hinata tightened. Hinata just laid her head on Naruto's shoulder and sighed happily. On the contrary, now I have more to worry about. Ino sighed as she crossed her arms. Seriously, Hinata, this Shin is no joke, so please be careful. Hinata removed herself from Naruto's arms to stand before Ino. Don't worry, Ino, we'll be careful, Hinata assured Ino as she placed her hand on her shoulders. Ino looked into Hinata's eyes before her eyes start glowing, which causes Naruto and Hinata's eyes to glow. I'm sharing with you our battle with Shin, Ino explained as the glowing stopped to reveal their slitted eyes. Good luck and be careful, she told them as she hugged Hinata. Thank you, Ino, we will, Hinata assured her as they pulled back from their hug, but still held on to each other. And don't worry, I'll make sure Naruto stays out of trouble. Hey, see that you do, Ino said while giggling. Hinata took a hold of Naruto's left arm and led him out the flower shop. See you when I get back, Ino-chan, I love you, Naruto managed to say before he was pulled out of the shop. I love you too, Ino whispered as she watched them disappear around the corner. She brings her right hand up and places it on her chest over her heart. Please come back to me, safe and sound, Ino thought before going back to the register. An hour later, Team 8 and Team 7 have gathered at the village gate. They are all wearing cloaks to protect them against the rain that was beginning to fall. Alright, everyone listen up. Kakashi gathered everyone's attention on him before continued. I assume all of you know about what our mission is, he began, to which everyone nodded. What you don't know is that we might be encountering Sasuke's team, more specifically an individual named Shin. This individual was able to best Kakashi, Asuma and their teams. He was even able to best 2 Akatsuki members. Yamato explained, making Kiba's eyes widen. So it's important to exercise extreme caution. If you spot Sasuke's team, or Itachi and his partner Kisame, don't engage. Kakashi finished and everyone nodded in agreement. Alright, let's begin. With that said, everyone was on their way. Don't you just love the rain? Shin asked no one in particular as stretched his arms out and looked up at the sky, letting the rain hit his face. Forgive me for not sharing your enthusiasm, Karen said sarcastically as the rain pelted against her cloak as the group made their way through a forest. Shin, aren't you afraid you'll catch a cold? Yugo asked. Nah, I never get sick, he responded. Idiots never do, Karen muttered before suddenly stopping. What's wrong, Karen? Sasuke asked, turning around to face her. I sensed 2 chakra signatures approaching, Karen warned everyone. Shin spotted something in the sky that was quickly approaching him. The object in question was a hummingbird that was completely white. Cool bird. He was fascinated by the unusual bird that he lifted his right arm so the bird could perch on his finger. No, wait, don't. Karen tried to warn Shin just as the bird perched on his finger. Huh! Was all Shin said as suddenly the bird exploded. Shin! Sasuke called out. My, that was easy. Everyone looked up in the direction of the voice to see 2 Akatsuki members riding on giant birds. The expression on his face was priceless. Truly worthy of my art. Deidara commented. Akatsuki? Karen muttered. Nice one, senpai. Tobi cheered. Kakuzu and Haiden must have been weak if this guy managed to get the better of them. Deidara mocked. Or I could just be that strong. Everyone was startled by the voice and turned to the spot where Shin was to hear coughing noises. Impossible. Deidara muttered as he watched Shin walk out of the smoke. I gotta admit, that certainly packed a punch. Shin said, wincing a little as his clothes were covered in ash but are intact. He rose from the dead? Tobi commented. So you survived that, no matter. That was one of my lower explosives. I have more that'll put you down for good, Deidara said confidently. That's good. I thought I was going to disappoint it for a minute there, but it looks like I might actually enjoy this fight. Shin smirked as he summoned his swords. What if Naruto has harem with Sakura Ino and Hinata? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.